right, so wait a second. Let me make sure that I'm not totally off base. Like, okay, Mad, like,
Yeah.
the three totally silly ass changes are the Arcane Rune. Well, let me make it four. The four like super silly changes are the Arcane Rune, the Ironwood Branch, Pudge, and the Radiant Jungle, right?
Ether Lens as well.
I think there are like a lot of them. I'm not sure how much, like how many exactly. Those are for sure a bit silly.
Those
I
are like
think,
the four that stick out to me as like being super silly. Like, what are
Like-
there more that stick out to you?
For me, the game is completely destroyed. I mean, I don't know. Like what
I told you he's
looked-
mad.
Like what I tried in the test client is that for example, you're able. Let's say you're a dire offlaner, you can pull that new big camp.
Yes.
Pretty much like you're pulling the safe lane, and there's nothing that Radiant can do about it. I mean, it's almost to the tier 2 tower. So what are you as a carry on Radiant? You're gonna see one wave out of two get denied, for example. Another thing that's completely broken is that this new pull camp on the Radiant side this time, I stacked it 9 times as an offlaner. So I mean, I don't know how it's balanced. Also the new Quelling Blade that takes 40% of the creeps, it means that
that's silly.
some junglers are now super efficient. Like all those Lycan, Juggernaut, like it's actually so easy to jungle with them. So easy, and you farm so fast.
Well, that's intentional. Like one of the big things that one of the biggest things that they were trying to do was bring back junglers with like some of the overarching changes in the past. And that was pretty obvious.
I think now they made it that, and especially with those pulls and stuff like on the side lanes, they made it that you kind of have to play with the jungle. I don't think there's another option if you want to be efficient.
No, that's absolutely. I think that's absolutely right. But I think at the same time, like certainly the Radiant jungle is a lot more dangerous. Like jungling on Radiant, but that's the funny thing to me that they added that path on Radiant, which makes the top two Radiant camps. The top two rightmost Radiant camps super more risky.
Yeah.
But then they didn't change the dire jungle at all.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't.
I don't understand that at all. I don't understand the thinking there.
Yeah, me neither.
Is there a map of the jungles yet? Like, is there a map, an image of the map yet?
Yeah.
Can you link? Is it in the change log, or can someone link it?
No, I will link it on Skype. I saw it on Twitter. I had one, but I linked one right now. I just saw that on Twitter.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I finally put everyone's faces in.
Can I just ask, the dire offlane pool you spoke about, that's just for trolls, right? Was that for everything?
Actually, I tried with trolls first, but then I mean, I don't think it works with other camps. But for example, let's say you have a Rubik, for example, then you can pull any camp, or Tiny, obviously, Wisp, all those heroes. What I mean is, like, if you play Tiny offlane, you're gonna deny one wave out of two for the safe lane. I mean, that breaks the game completely, right? Like, then how are you supposed to
does it
farm
break the
anything
game?
on the safe lane?
Does it break the game any more or less?
It breaks the game how we know it.
Than Tiny mid pulls did in the previous patch. Like, you still, if you do that, you're still kind of. If you do that with a support Tiny, you still suck with a support Tiny.
Yeah, but I mean, they try to contest the big camp, or they tried stuff like that. Pull is so hard to contest. Like, it's so deep.
Yeah.
They have 4 towers that they can TP to, and they're there instantly.
But hang on, the Radiant side could do the same, right? With their new camp at the offlane, they could also use Tiny or whatever to pull.
Yeah.
So
they can.
So then the issue here is that, like,
but
I mean,
it's a much trickier angle.
Like, I agree with you that it changed.
There's
have
one
you,
thing
Scan, have you booted up the test client and just walked around the map yet?
I haven't done it, but I watched someone streaming doing it, so
like it's a much you can still in theory do it, but it's a much harder angle, I think.
I mean, like, the point I want to make is that I agree with what Matt's saying, that okay, it changes the game a lot. It's not obvious to me that it's like, I feel like the game's been heading in that direction already recently, where maybe we don't want to talk about safe lane and off lane. There's just 2 lanes. There's just 2 side lanes, and maybe that's okay.
Right. That's definitely right.
It's even more the case now. But another thing that's a bit retarded, I feel, it's that tango thing, like that branch that you can just create.
I mean, it's a look.
I hate it.
I love the whole like Bob Ross reference, but that seems so clowny to me. It's like it's like 100% free juke.
You know what you can do also? You
or
can
shackle.
Paths. Like, you can actually buy 5 branches.
Yeah.
block the creep wave, and the creep wave will just move to neutrals, and then you farm that neutral camp. You know, like stuff
Oh,
like this.
really?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah,
let's say bot Radiant, like Radiant safe lane, the ramp behind tier 2, you just
I
block
haven't
that
tried
ramp
it
off.
myself, but I was with a friend of mine that plays Dota. He tried it on Dire, and he told me right now I blocked with like 4 tangos, like 4 trees, and I'm farming a neutral camp.
It's like
it's
like when you could block with
okay.
observer wards. Just
Okay,
block
so
a lane
like-
with observer wards.
It's
Before
like you
the
just-
patch actually goes live, at the very minimum, they'll do with that what they did with Earthshaker Fisher. They'll change that so that if you tree block a lane, that the creeps will just stand there. But it's still fucked up.
Yeah, it is. I think. I mean, of course, it's a bit of gold. Like it's like a lot of gold actually, I guess. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of the testing process, right? So it's like,
But yeah, I hope it is.
Right before
I'm sure it
WCA.
is.
Yeah, well, WCA seems pretty clowny anyway, but I don't know.
I mean, some changes are. I mean, they did nerf. Yeah, sure. Because like my like thinking is, the process is like now on the offlane you can pull that camp. You can just also farm it. So I mean, pretty much any hero can go offlane. And again, I mean, if you buy a Quelling Blade and it works on range as well, with this 40% of you kill the big
Yeah.
creep, it means that pretty much any hero right now in Dota can get
It's jungle.
experience.
Yeah, no,
Anywhere. Any
that's
hero
the
can get
biggest thing.
experience quite fast on the map.
There-
you know what I
there
mean?
were
And
a
that's
couple
like
of
such a
people-
huge change.
There were a couple of people that I know, like on Twitter, for example, that are like they're into gaming in general, but they're not that into Dota, and they're like, oh, what's this new Iron Talon thing? It just doesn't seem that big. But I mean, for people watching that aren't like 6K,
think
that
it's
aren't like
insane.
mad level players, most of the big like high gold bounty, high XP camps have one creep that's much stronger than the others.
Yeah,
So the fact that you can take like the big troll or the big hellbear or the big centaur and instantly remove 40% of its life is like, I mean, that's a huge buff for junglers.
for sure. And I mean, any hero can do it, like right? Like, because
Right.
I'm reading it again, but I guess there's no difference between being a melee and a ranged hero.
No, not at all. That the way I read it anyway, that proc works for everybody, and it's a big deal. Like, it's still a 500 gold item, which means that you can't like when I first read that item, my big concern was that you'd get that on like 2 supports, and I mean your supports could jungle super fast. So that's not as much of a concern.
But-
the recipe cost balances the item somewhat.
Yeah, but it's like you look at the exactly what it costs. It costs 500. So for example, you can start with this plus a set of tangos on a hero.
right.
And you just go jungle, like, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna be able to get XP like quite efficiently.
Oh yeah, no. It is, but they needed to do something of that nature, because what's happened in the last couple of metas is that like junglers have completely died, and they've died because of the interaction of 2 things, because of the tier 1 tower glyph change, which Durka mentioned in our discussion the other night. And then the fact that basically the stacking meta has changed so that it's way more efficient now to stack those camps and give them to your mid Shadow Fiend than it is to have Chen eating those camps early on.
Yeah, exactly. They nerfed the stacking so much, by the way. Like this.
Okay,
magic
that I want to hear you
resistance-
talk about for what reason now?
because the
stack-
magic
the
resistance
magic
stacks
resistance
with,
on the
Yeah,
little
yeah, so-
centaur and
you can't clear the
it's
waves
like-
easily.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, actually, it was funny. I actually wish I had said that on the Toffee show the other night, because that has seemed to me to be, for quite a while now, to be kind of an elegant solution to the stack abuse meta, is to just give the creeps magic resistance, and they gave particular creeps MR auras but not others, which is interesting.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, if you stack a camp like 4 times or 5 times, the chances are that you're gonna get like probably 20 or 40% magic. It stacks as well. So I mean, it's SF, for example, can't just walk to the camp and just triple raise him. He's gonna have to like use 4 or 5 raise maybe, and just wait for the cooldowns and everything. Like clearing stacks is way less efficient. But on the other hand, it buffs heroes that don't really care about magic resistance. Like, I don't know, Tyrant or Beast. I don't know, those heroes.
Well, like AM doesn't give a shit at all, right?
Yeah,
AM gets
yeah.
his Battle Fury and he's great. The big issue, right, is that Radiant SF would have been nerfed even without that.
And by
because
the way,
Radiant SF, his jungle, his raises are more expensive. His jungle is way more dangerous now. Like if you guys, if for those of you that are talking to me right now, and for those of you that are listening, if you haven't like booted up the test client and just walked around the Radiant jungle, please do that. It's like, oh my god, the Radiant jungle is so much more dangerous now.
but I'm glad you mentioned AM because this map is a huge buff to anti-mage because now
Yeah,
anti-mage can like constantly blink and farm. Like he basically has infinite camps to farm right now.
Although
there's no breaks in his cycle anymore. Like there's
not
breaks
anymore.
at all.
On his way to entrance to the
There's two
other
camps.
side of the map, he has like another camp. Like I don't know.
He has another camp that, oh, by the way, the offlane hero can be stacking for him. It's like, okay, I mean, really?
Yeah, pretty sick.
But at the same time, on the subject of like completely random niche changes that may not be relevant at all, like how hard does Void screw both Quap and AM now? Holy crap!
Yeah, like the hero changes as well. Like if you start getting
It's so
into this.
silly.
Oh my god.
Overall, the thing is, overall, I actually think it's a great patch. It's just that there are a couple of changes that are like Clownsville, and I really do think that those will be changed, and that overall it'll be really good. But yeah,
I think
we're kind of focusing on the changes that are silly right now.
like right now, also one of the changes. I mean, I don't think they can put Earth Spirit in Captain's mode. I really think it's a mistake. I'm not even hating on the hero. Like I'm actually willing to spam the hero and like prove that it's completely broken and that you can't win versus that hero. I'm not even kidding.
I thought he was going to come out in B version or something.
You don't think the nerf to grip is like? I thought looking at it, I thought the nerf to grip was just huge.
That's for sure. That's one of the reasons why the hero was already like super broken. So that nerf was super necessary. But the problem is, for example, if you have Ags on Earth Spirit and they push base, they just try to take your base tower. You can send the guy behind the tier 4s with that. And like that can't be right. Like how do you push versus that hero? You literally cannot push. You know what I mean? If they have buybacks and shit, like you're gonna have to fight between the tier 4 and Fountain. I mean, it's not even Dota. Like it doesn't.
I want to play devil's advocate a bit, just because no one else is. Like, I mean, when Slark first came out, like I don't know, there were a lot of people being like, "Hey, he can go invisible, and there's nothing you can do to see him. That's not Dota. That's broken. That's such." Like I think when we introduced to like really out there different concepts. Like the gut instinct is to be like, no, that's not Dota, and I don't like I'm hesitant because I'd rather like see the testing happen, see it in play.
I'm actually
see it happen
super glad that you said that because I want to emphasize that our discussion so far has centered around like there are really like maybe a half a dozen concepts that I feel were introduced with this patch that are just kind of clowny. I feel the majority of the changes are actually super good. Like in my opinion, this is a super awesome patch. And we've talked so far mostly about the stuff that I think is really problematic. But I think Scant's point is really, really important. I couldn't agree more with that.
No, I agree for sure, but the difference is that, I mean, Earth Spirit has been played already in games. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen what it does. Whereas when Slark came out, or those heroes, I mean, Arc Warden, we might have a discussion about him later, but it's like, we didn't really know what it was about, so sometimes it's hard to estimate beforehand, like, alright, that's how good he is or stuff. But I mean,
has Earth Spirit been played in professional matches? Because I mean, the same way when Slark was only played in pubs, people didn't know how to deal with the ulti. Sometimes it has to go into professional match where teams are able to coordinate a certain amount, and then figure out how to build.
The highest quality games, it was FPL games that we played where it's in random drafts, so we play with Earth Spirit. And it was that change on the grip was not there yet, so I can just tell you that, like that hero would just destroy games. Like
the cooldowns on his spells are ridiculous. Like honestly,
I still think the grip change is huge. But Scant, just to reply to that general comment that you made, like the biggest difference to me, and what the fuck do I know? I'm only 4K, but the biggest difference to me between like mid-tier pubs and FPL or pro matches is that people don't know how to punish lanes. And that was the thing with Slark, is that in pubs, in mid, and some even high-tier pubs, like Slark doesn't get punished in lane, and if you don't punish Slark in lane, he's god tier. But in FPL and pro matches, people know how to punish Slark in lane, and so he's not that great.
Hey guys, just because I think we're confusing a lot of people who are tuning in right now as well.
Fair enough.
Is it possible just to wrap up a couple of like the last key points you guys got from reading it through. It's also because I can't keep up with you because I haven't read through the notes yet. Literally woke up an hour ago.
Yeah.
So I guess
I'm just like excited to have the chance to talk to Matt and Durkin and Scan about this because like I haven't had a chance to bounce any of these ideas off other people yet.
So this is the reason why I pulled this thing together, because if we sit here and chat about it ourselves, we're just gonna get so fucking salty. So at least this way we
level, baby.
Like we just spread the salt a little bit. But yeah, like was there anything else that was major that you think we should talk about before we just go through one by one?
Dazzle, Weave, and Ember Spirit. Remnant's not giving vision anymore. Like we've talked for the past 2 patches how vision is super important. Slardar ulti, bounty hunter track, stuff like that. I thought Slardar's vision would get removed from Amplify, but I'm actually super surprised that it didn't. And he's not. Did he get touched at all?
No, but it did.
Oh, it did. Oh, never mind. Ignore me. I missed that. Okay, yeah. Then that follows with what I'm saying. Then I missed that.
So it's basically the same nerf that like bounty hunter like took him out of action.
I think that's one of the things that really has been pinpointed very well in this patch is the vision control, as well as smoke being reduced. Observer wards, you've got a lot more control over them because you've got the vision indicator around them as well. So, you know, I think Ice Frog's done a good job on that.
I mean, so many changes are major. It's hard to list them all because, for example, all the Ags upgrade, like some of them are really,
Hey, did you see the Dro Ags upgrade? You see the?
I think that's the worst.
This was
not an Ags
okay. Guys, just think about this. Think about this because this is one of the things which I was actually asked about. I haven't been asked about a patch note in a very fucking long time.
You're not gonna ask anything. It's like, Toby, what do you think about Dro Ranger?
But this is the combo. So for those that don't know, Dro now has an Aghanim's upgrade, which sounds like the stupidest piece of shit in history. The first time I heard about this, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be another Ags upgrade, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever, because no one's ever gonna buy an Aghanim scepter on Dro Ranger until you think about the combo with it. Now, the cool thing about it is it basically acts like a whole brand new attack. So Mjolnir attack, like what you're saying is that you could potentially get 3 jumps of lightning with 1 attack when you got the Aghanim's upgrade.
The thing is, the other interesting thing about it is that I'm not sure that like, let's say you do something on paper that's really dumb and you buy Skull Basher. Is the bash cooldown on Skull Basher relevant for the split attacks? Can you literally triple bash? I'm not sure.
Yep. It's a brand new attack. Now think of it this way too. Think about the Mag's upgrade, the Mag's Aghanim's upgrade, and combine that with the Dro Ranger.
Alright, you have a point. That could work. I mean, that Mag upgrade is actually, it's one of them, you know, that's not, I mean...
Oh, think about it though, that's like so, the Mag upgrade is so fun to think about because it's so dependent on how the meta evolves from here forward. Because if you look at how the meta was at the end of the previous patch, it had gone mostly to maybe 1 or 2 DPS heroes, and like your offlaner was mostly a control hero, and your other 2 supports were mostly control oriented too. So the damage was very concentrated among 1 or 2 cores in most drafts at the end of 6.85. And if you have that going forward, then the Ags is not that significant. But if you go back to some of these pushing lineups where the damage was a little bit more spread among heroes, it's like it's god tier. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things. I love so many of these changes could be, depending on how the meta evolves, could be like not important at all, or could just be god tier, and that's what to me makes the game so much fun to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, were there any other major points that you guys were thinking about?
What hero is Goblat gonna find next in 2 months' time?
Death Prophet.
I just want to. I don't have a major hero to point out. I just want to say before we start going through the list, so Nox was like trying to convince me to do patch analysis like every big patch for like the last year, and I always say no because basically I think that it's fun to like do this kind of speculation. But I think we have to be careful about like devaluing the purpose of actual testing and gameplay.
But that's
so I'm happy to be here right now. Yeah, I'm happy to be here right now.
You are 100% right. But everybody that's watching, everybody that anything right now, you need to understand that this is all theory crafting. That's
yeah. So I just want to explain for the purpose of this conversation. Whenever you guys all agree that something's broken, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate because my belief is that we don't really know. So I'm just gonna try and offer the argument for the other side always, and
for sure that makes a lot of sense.
Did you guys talk about the fact that Navi is back?
Wait,
what? Speaking about Pudge.
Oh my. Okay.
Pudge buff. Navi is back, guys.
I began this whole thing by saying there are 4 things that are obviously broken to me. Right, the Tango change is silly, the Radiant side change is silly, the Pudge change is silly, and there was one other thing that I can't think of right now and feel really dumb.
I honestly think Ether Lens, that cast range, plus 200 cast range on Ether Lens, is going to be super weird.
Yeah.
Well, we said the same thing about.
I think
Octarine,
it's a great support item. That's a great support item, though.
Exactly.
It's gonna allow support players to position themselves way easier in the fights and think. I think it's a interesting item.
1000%.
But like cooldowns is one thing. Actually positioning yourself and not expecting a spell to come out from 200 range where you don't expect it from is a completely different thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's gonna be really difficult.
Said 800 cast range on Maledict if you get that item on him now.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go back on my earlier comment because the important thing about Aether Lens is that it's only a 2,300 gold item. It's comparable in cost to Glimmer Cape. Like the big thing about Octarine, we all hemmed in a lot about Octarine possibly being so OP, but Octarine is like almost a 6,000 gold item.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm now leaning toward Durka's point of view just because. Like a 2,300 gold item, what you're thinking about is
it flips the game on its head. Like
you can either get Force Staff, which gives you 600 range once, or you can get Aether Lens, which gives you 200 range on all your spells. It's actually pretty broken.
Yeah, but look, for example, like you have some combos. Like I don't know, it's just theory crafting. It might happen, but for example, Sanking, like his stun is already 650. You get that item, it's 850, and then you get Aghanim Sanking. It's suddenly you have a stun with 1,700 range. Like. What is this? You can stun.
Wait a minute though. Oh God, I didn't even realize. I thought I read the whole cast range improvement affects targeted spells. I didn't realize this affects line stuns too.
Yeah, it's Pudge Hook as well.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's like Sanky can stun like for 2k range. Like what is this? It's basically
do you think this is balanced if you basically say this affects targeted spells only? Because that's what I'm leaning toward.
Yeah, it could be better.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm with that.
It feels a bit. It feels quite strong, but yet again, like I agree that we should have a devil's advocate, and I mean, your point makes a lot of sense. I'm usually that type of guy. I'm gonna say that everything is broken, but it's not. It's not even negative. Like it's gonna be interesting, but what I mean is like, let's put it that way. Like it's very interesting, you know.
The thing that people need to understand, and this was like, so I'm in academia, so we do this all the time. It's like it doesn't. The argument itself matters more than the conclusion. Like the fact that you think something is broken matters less than the fact that you can articulate why.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, definitely. I mean,
so
yeah.
I don't know. Should we maybe go to this?
Yeah. Let's actually fuck with everything and start with the new items.
I love it.
So let's go down the bottom of the page. So we start with the Fairy Fire, the new consumable,
the new mango.
The +2 damage, except the new mango. It's basically like giving fire spirits, right? Like you.
What?
This item could be brilliant, I think. Okay, I'll just go ahead and start because no one's. I mean, I can totally see a situation in which you have a couple of these in your lane. You're 1v1 against someone, they don't. You've got like a tiny bit more damage, but you can also trade further because you've got that extra heal. Right. I mean, there's a cooldown, but it's a short cooldown. I'm not sure. It could be a situation where. It's kind of like you reach a natural equilibrium where like both players realize we could buy some of these and they just don't buy any.
This is why I fucking love you, Scant. Nash equilibrium, yes. No, so that's why I called it the new mango. It's like the thing where the big value, it provides a passive bonus, and in the beginning of the patch, there's a lot of value to it because you can catch somebody off guard because you can, especially with pro players in high level play. They know exactly how many nukes they can take. They know exactly how many auto attacks that they can take in a certain position before they die. And the Mango and the Fairy Fire change that calculus. And so you potentially they become more valuable in high level plays at first, but as time goes on,
for
like
example,
Moon said at the end of the summit, that unless you're able to get a kill out of that burst of mana from the mango, it's actually a pretty low value item.
I mean, you have to take it into account. For example, like for example, mango, it changed a lot the life of the offlaners.
Yes.
Let's say you're playing a clockwork offlane. I mean, suddenly your hero is not that. I mean, you can't abuse the fact that they're out of mana and stuff like the. I mean, a lot of heroes got hurt by mango, but I think it was quite a good item and it changed a lot. Obviously, people adapt, so people play accordingly after. So the surprise effect isn't that good. But that one, for example, let's say you're diving mid. You know, so how many dives do we see? It's one hit away, and then I mean, for mid lane, let's say, you know, you're going for that guy because you know it's one hit away. He has that item. It makes it really harder. You can bait people into diving you, stuff like this. I feel like it's gonna maybe lower a bit the aggression on mid lane, because it's gonna be more risky to go for those plays.
But it depends who has them, right? Like whether the diver or the mid laner has it.
That of course. In that situation, it would have been the guy that would get dove.
But that's the thing, right? Is that the mid lane matchup? It's not necessarily about equilibrium because it's not about two players 1v1 against each other, and one pops the 75 HP and the other one pops the 75 HP. It's going to be more about this saving grace preventing you from dying in that 1v1 matchup. It's not going to be the aggression versus aggression. It's going to be SF just double raised me, and I'm about to die to this last hit. I'm going to pop this in order to stop that last hit from killing me.
Instead of wasting a salve or something, you have this.
More importantly, the direction I thought you were going with that, Cap, was that you're seeing more and more, just over the last couple of patches, and this has naturally happened as just teams have gotten a lot better, that the mid matchup is now much more determined by support play than it used to be. And this is an item that can keep you from dying in a gank by a support.
Well, this is, I mean, so this is related to something Matt was talking about earlier. Like, okay, so they've made jungling stronger, and oh no, now there's going to be junglers every game. But we're talking about how the current meta's had like 2v2 mid at the start of every game, and that raises a question because there's a trade-off. If it's efficient to jungle, where's that hero coming from? Are you running a solo in your safe lane and off lane so that you can still have a support helping mid, or if it's the person who was going to help mid, then the whole dynamic changes.
My guess would be that it's your safe lane support, because since the offlaners can easily pull now, and can get XP regardless, because they can just farm the camp, or you know, like it's gonna be easier for them. I'm pretty sure like pro players, and I'm not even pro players, just people will find ways to pull those camps or to abuse those camps on the offlane. So then your safe lane support that would just stay to support your carry in order to. If it's to support your carry or shut down the offlane, he's not gonna get the work done because the offlaner is gonna get space anyway. So he's gonna be looking for his own experience, and it's gonna be more efficient for him to get it in the jungle rather than pull.
So if the offlaner pulls his camp, the carry pulls his own safe lane camp. Then
I think the carry is just try to deal with it or something. Yeah, I mean
that's one of my big concerns is that we go back in all of this is that we go back to like the 6.81 through 6.83 metas, which were much more. 6.81, everybody bitched about it because it was a pushing meta, but support rotations were really important. But then when you got to 6.82 and 6.83, the comeback mechanics made it such that, I mean, the lane meta was so stagnant. It was all about pulling. It was all tri-lanes all the time. And I'm a little bit worried with these jungle changes that we're just going to see. I like the fact that the 4 position is a lot more versatile now. That's the big thing that I was hoping that they would do with this patch is that going from 6.83 to 4, they completely opened up the offlane meta. I'm sorry, going from 8.4 to 8.5, they completely opened up the offlane meta. I was hoping that going from 8.5 to 8.6, they were going to open up the 4 position meta as well. But I'm worried that in the process of making junglers more viable, that they create a much more static laning meta.
Will we not just see a reversion back to the like 3-minute smoke wraparound ganks? Because with smokes now 50 gold. We used to see Chen 3 minutes in, like religiously just go and wrap around behind the tier 1.
The important thing about the smoke is not the gold cost; it's the cooldown.
Yeah, well, both of them together. Wait, is Yap still here?
Yes, guys.
Oh yeah,
guys,
dude.
I have now turned into being administrator of this,
Habibi!
whatever the fuck this is. But
no Arabic, please.
Habibi!
Wow.
No,
This
please.
guy's super smart. I've never actually talked to him before.
Yabs or Dota.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you
Hello,
Yapsel.
Sebastian.
Hey man.
Hey guys.
Hey dude.
What's up,
Okay,
Yapsel?
where are you guys at now? At the patch?
We've basically gone through the whole we're massively salty about the patch. We've kind of moved past the salt. We started talking about one consumable item, and then these guys have just gone on a fucking rant about pulling cams and other shit.
Next consumable item, Dragonlance.
Yes, let's move down.
This is also consumable?
Wait, it's not consumable. This is not consumable.
Dragonlance is fucking amazing because it is disassemblable.
That's my first item on Garo, I think.
Yeah, it's like for Gyrocopter, for Drow Ranger, like any hero, any ranged agi carry that can build this thing and then disassemble it and get Butterfly and BKB, it's like, holy crap.
That's pretty nice. It does take a slot, but I think it's a very cost-efficient item. Like, it's extremely good, actually.
Just saying, buff up to Drow Ranger.
Fucking hell, Toby.
You know it, bro. You know it. You want to give her attack range so now she can actually like not have to even join the fights.
What's her attack range at now?
The attack range, the Aghanims upgrade, as well as the Magnus buff. Boom!
She's 630 now or something? What is her attack range?
Yeah,
625. 625.
Yeah, 625 and
like,
then this.
For example, the bottom, it's like 630 plus this. Then it's gonna be, what, 760? On the bottom, like the bottom attack range, and those items are pretty good for bottom. Honestly, she's a bit squishy. Quarterstaff, very good for bottom. Like there are many items that you could go for, and I mean it's gonna make this like some heroes actually got huge buffs with this item. I think.
Any hero that's going to go BKB Butterfly, any hero that's going to consider SNY, I think, especially the heroes that have a limited amount of range already. Like Gyrocopter, I think was a great example. For me, Vengeful Spirit is one, because you naturally need tank on that hero as well. You're probably going to go in SNY or BKB either way.
So overall you think Core Venge is the thing now?
The Axe buff is also really good for Venge, actually.
The Ags is amazing for support Venge, especially.
Yeah, you still don't get Ags on a Core Venge though, right? And that's not.
No,
that's not.
I mean, it depends if you have some kind of like steamroll run at you strategy, because that's like we haven't seen people do it, but I promise you, that's like another hero that you don't run away from. And
we probably shouldn't be talking about Carry Venge anyway, because that's a cheat thing.
Well, just on Dragonlance, the 2 cents I want to add is I think that this item's going to compete with Drum for most heroes. So do you think it's like that's how we have to analyze new items?
There's no
like, what's the opportunity cost?
There's no competition. Like it's way better than Drum. I mean, it's the fact that it's disassemblable. Like imagine this item is case in point for like a question that I've been asking for like 5 patches now. That why is Vanguard not disassemblable?
Is it always better than Drum? What about when you want the aura, like the AoE
but
kind of
then you get it on your offlaner. Like
I think Drum majority of the time you want mana pool.
If you're an agi carry that's gonna build SNY or Butterfly BKB, like why would you get Drum over this? Because this item then turns into something later.
Okay, guys, we have 2 new guests in the channel.
I
would like to welcome in our CS Pro. We actually have Freiberg joining us now here in the chat, and we are joined by, of course, the Milk himself.
The one and only Toby. Come on, proper introduction to the man.
Milk, how do you feel about Arc Warden being added and not Pit Lord?
What is Valve even doing? I don't know why they haven't added Pit Lord, but I want to ask you something much more important, Adam.
Yeah?
What is your thoughts on the whole recoil on rifles?
I mean, it's not that big of a difference actually. I think the update was pretty good. I mean, the R8 was a really good gun, very viable.
What?
I think we're off topic right here.
Yep, source. Yes, Italy, dude. Never
Aren't we
forget.
discussing the new patch?
Yeah, wasn't this the new patch one?
Okay, Aether Lens.
Which, the first thing that came into my mind when I read about this item is Earthshaker, honestly.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sick, actually.
Honestly, any hero like this has to be. I would bet a fairly good deal of money that within a month it's going to be targeted spells only. Like this, 200 cast range bonus on line stuns is just is silly. Like if Fissure, Burrow Strike, Impale, Earth Spike, like any line stun, 200 cast range bonus on those spells is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Is this item a first item, second, third, fourth item? Like when do you buy any progression? Because my concern is that the build up is actually pretty bad for most heroes. It's a bit like a mini refresh orb. Like the components don't give you that much.
It's like
but it's 2,300 gold instead of 6k, dude.
The ring of health is an issue for sure.
It's going to be one of those things where you go like arcane boots into it, right?
Yeah,
arcane into ring of health.
No, wait, what?
Is that the consensus that you would go this before Blink?
No, but you'd go like arcane. It'll be like the old Bloodstone where you.
Yeah,
we're just saying to make sense of the components. Like you're getting arcane, so there's the energy booster. You just need to find a way to justify the ring.
Oh,
then.
I see. I see. I'm sorry. Yep.
Like the cloak is fine. We see casual cloaks all the time. You can just get a glimmer sometimes.
Sure.
It is the ring of health that's the super awkward one.
Got buffed. Remember, it's 20% now.
But I mean, that ring of health could have been a recipe, and then people would have went for it. So maybe if you just buy arcanes and cloak into that item. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's ring of health or anything else. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit expensive for sure. You have a point because you would have blink with that. So some heroes might like they'd rather. I don't know. Maybe it's better to have a blink on Shaker than having that or Lion blink.
I still think you have to. As much as like I think the 200 cast range is and with all the other bonuses is like really good. I still think you still can't go this first item. You still have to go. You have to go. You probably go arcanes into blink, then disassemble your arcanes and get disc because by then you're that high. You're high enough a level that the mana pool doesn't matter as much anyway.
But casual cloak got nerfed. Cloak went down by 5%.
20 to 15.
But you get the same dilemma at every point in your progression, though, right? So if Blink's better than it, how about is Force Staff not better than it? Is Glimmer Cape not better than it? So I think there's tough decisions to make at every point.
I think for the heroes that we're talking about with the line setting, you probably go the second item after Blink, but that's theory crafting, admittedly.
But you know what I dislike a bit about this item is that, like Dota, you become a good player when you're pretty much your brain or you're just thousands of games that you just know the range of that spell. You just know, you know what I mean. You know exactly how to position.
Oh,
it's like
experience based. It's like 100% experience.
You know that if you're like 50 range on the right, you would have like he would have stunned you, but you juked him or stuff like this. What I mean with this is that it's gonna change possibly the range of every single spell.
Oh, it does.
Pretty much because anyone can get it. Then everything changes.
This is the first thing that you said that I strongly disagree with. Like. That to me is what makes Dota so much fun. That there's such complexity, and I actually like honestly the players. I teach I teach young people for a living. Okay, the players that we have in the scene right now that are playing on tier 1 and tier 2 teams are just insanely smart, and they figure things out so quickly. Like they're gonna figure this out, and I kind of like items that change the calculus of the game, because the game is so optimized so quickly in these patches. Because there's so much money at stake and so many good teams out there right now. I think the only issue with this item is the line stuns and the cost.
I'm going to disagree with that because there is something to be said about having fundamentals and keeping fundamentals. There has always been the fact that Dota does not allow you to be able to increase, significantly your spell attack damage or increase your like cast range like this.
Well, but you could have said the same thing about cooldowns before the last patch with Octarine, right?
Yeah, you could have said, but this is very much different.
Playing devil's advocate. I mean, again, I think the biggest issue with this item is the line stuns and the fact that it's only 2,300 gold. Like Octarine, changing cooldowns was a big deal too, because I mean we're talking about the same kind of calculus where Tidehunter's Ravage is down. No, it's not all of a sudden. But the fact that this is a 2.3k item instead of a 6k item, it means that you're going to see a lot more of this, and that's what makes it so much more significant, in my opinion.
Toby, what do you think? What do you think about this item, Toby?
I think you should all shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, that's probably
true. How do we even get on to fundamentals of Dota 2, and we're only on the third fucking item?
It's because it's something.
I mean, that's what happens when you introduce an item that changes fundamental. I don't know.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I won't disagree.
Well, should we talk about the Iron Talon? Because we're already talking about it.
This is where I want to hear you guys talk. This item, I cannot make up my mind about at all. So I want to hear you guys break this down.
I think it's gonna change the whole metagame completely. I think this is probably this is one of the biggest changes of that patch. Like I can see any hero go jungle and get XP quite fast, and that changes the game how we know it. At least that's my understanding of it completely.
So to set the table for the discussion,
are we actually pushing this whole? Are we pushing this whole meta into just jungling now? Is that all we're looking at?
I think so, especially with the pulls on the off lanes. Like, I think jungling is a must-have now. Like, I really think if you want to be efficient, then you should. I mean, probably you can punish it, right? So people are going to find counters to it. So I'm not sure what's the counter to the counter going to be and where it's going to end.
So what we go back into what it used to be, which was like these two roaming supports going into the jungle to stop the Enigma from becoming beyond like godlike in farm.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to be the counter if the counter is going to be efficient enough to stop that. You know what I mean? But I think the first step of that change is going to be that people are going to abuse jungling.
Jungle Legion Commander, just like in my pubs.
Jungle Legion Commander, it's so efficient. I'm sure you can farm
the Iron
so
Talon
fast.
will work on her. But the problem is, like, how do you transition with this? Like, you spend this much money on an Iron Talon early on. Where do you go after that? It's not as though this item is like a soul ring, which can then move into something else.
It would be nice to be able to disassemble it, or like to because right now it's a bit problematic to just keep it on you. Because that Quelling Blade you can use for, I don't know, Battle Fury, or just keep it. The Ring of Protection, Aquila, most of the carries, they get it anyway.
Yeah.
Vlad.
Actually, you know what?
But if you do that, you'll have to replace the recipe with something else. So if you disassemble it, you don't just have a recipe sitting on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is
I want to say, Jacob. I want to say, like, as Matt just alluded to, like, we don't know where it'll end up. So maybe people start jungling, and then it turns out that solos get pressured, and then people come out of the jungle. So I don't know about the jungle issue. Like, I'm tempted to say that you're right, that it's just going to be a lot of junglers. But what I will say for sure is that this is an item that I see a guy like Eternal Envy or a guy like Ritsu, these like super hyper efficient farmers, buying every single game. Because you want the Quelling Blade, because you want the Ring of Protection, and the fact that you can make them take one slot instead of two is just like that much more value.
The problem is that you can't like use those items anymore. So if you want to buy your Aquila or everything, like right now, you're gonna have to buy another one of them. Like that's the issue I see with it, though.
Yeah, you're right. So you'd have to find. So if you want like the mana from the Aquila, you'd have to find a different. Maybe you just get the Bassi and this, or.
I think if you could just like split those items, like disassemble it, then it would be perfect.
All right. Yeah. Let's move on. We'll start actually on the full list of items now. So the Abyssal Blade, where it's got double damage, and the damage decreased from 85 to 70. So overall, I don't think this really does this make any kind of real change. Like Abyssal Blade is kind of used just for the lock stun anyway.
Yeah, I don't think that change is really big. I think it's very little change. Exactly. Anyway, you buy the Abyssal for the instant stun.
Yeah. Anyone gonna debate that?
I mean, it's if we have to categorize it, I'm gonna say it's probably a very slight nerf. It's probably not a big change either way. But if it's good or bad, it's probably more bad than good. I would say.
Actually, yeah, I was thinking it was more of a nerf than a buff as well.
Like the biggest buff we'll see from it is like recently we've had Ursa's rushing Abyssal Blade is like after phase.
Yeah, but like you can forget about Ursa. You should think of it like Gyrocopter when he doesn't want to go divine. You can like the highest sort of raw damage you can get is Abyssal Blade, but now it's not really. Like when you just want raw damage instead of the disable like late game.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's maybe more nerf than a buff.
At the same time, if you're in the late game, you can get something like you've got double the damage on your bash hit as well. Like yeah, you pray to the RNG gods a little bit more, but that's still.
I feel like most of the time when you use Abyssal, it's like that Abyssal usage is so important that if you get it off, then you feel like it's a win. And getting the damage, I mean it goes through BKB, so it's 60 damage through BKB, but it's very little. Like usually when you get to that stage of the game where you buy Abyssal, 60 damage is like nothing.
Yeah. Animal couriers. The Pinoys are dead. Pinoys are basically dead right now.
What?
That's racist.
Toby, hello.
Holy shit,
No,
Toby.
that's not racist. It's their strat.
How is that not?
It is their strat. It is their strat. It is not. What the fuck are you guys on? Fuck off.
What feeding couriers is just?
No. It's
You
the
can't
fact that
feed
it's like
couriers anymore. Yes.
it's the purchase. It's the purchase cooldown, so you can't run the dual courier strat anymore. That is what I'm referring to, you dicks.
About the actual change. Does anyone else get the feeling that the trajectory we're on with animal couriers is like in a year's time they're just going to be free and you're just going to have them? That's what it feels like. They're just getting cheaper.
It is the second patch, that it gets cheaper.
All of the support items have gone in that direction, right? Animal couriers, wards, boots, and it honestly, we talk about these changes mostly from the standpoint of high-level programs, but there are a lot of changes that the beta team is making just to make Dota a more accessible and an easier game. And at the vast majority of pub levels, you have to make support play a little bit more friendly. And I think this is just a part of that.
All right.
Yeah, it could very well be. But
Wait, did you guys talk about the map changes yet, or?
No.
Oh, I don't. The map changes to me are a little strange.
We started on items.
Yeah, we had the map salty stuff, but we can come back to it a little bit later. Yeah, but let's move on to the arcane boots. It's a small change with the movement speed, and the total cost is reduced.
That's just the base boots changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the boots, but the cost is nice actually. It's again they make it cheaper.
Yeah, so
it's like you can buy, for example, on supports now you can buy like a courier, boots, and a set of tango, for example. So you could still start with boots on supports. I feel like you're gonna get away with boots, maybe double boots on supports, and still get some wards and couriers and whatever you need to start the game. So that might be interesting. Like it really opens up the support items. I mean, it might not mean anything to core players, but for us poor supports, like 50 gold means a lot. So
100% agree.
It's helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest thing, right, is that Dota is a game. It's a game of discreteness and power spikes, and it means a couple of things. It means that supports that get behind tend to feed less, and it means that like a lucky first blood is less likely to just like auto win you the lane. I think it's the cost reduction and the movement speed penalty. It's a very well thought out change.
Is All Kuros now affecting buildings?
I mean, those towers are gonna be
yeah.
They're gonna be quite strong. Those towers with this Arc Warden and the AC, and we're gonna play tower defense.
They
also
buffed
just
the
got
damage,
improved
right?
damage.
Yeah, they buffed the damage as well.
Yeah.
I like that. Actually,
Yeah,
I wanted them to buff towers. I felt like they were really weak actually. It's so easy to dive nowadays, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a good
sure.
balance against that new consumable item that helps you to dive more. Like you need to have something to offset that.
Blade Mail cooldown is reduced 15 to 13. Not a big change, but anyone think it impacts like more than it reads into?
I'm not quite sure about that one, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems like a maybe we'll see the impact of that during the next patch.
You know, it's like this mantle of intelligence removed from the side shot. Like sometimes you're like, yeah, I just don't get it.
I mean, that's pretty big for safe lane or offlane co-ops, right? Where you go circle
Yeah, but
recipe.
like,
but
why would you nerf off? I mean, you know.
I don't know why they change it.
This is like pure hate on offlane co-op or safe lane co-op.
Yeah.
Actually, when I read that, I was surprised because I didn't even know it was there.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
like, what?
Yeah.
You can't get the null anymore. Like, you know, start with the recipe and the circlet and then build it into null. So probably a bit of a nerf for those, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Alright, the booster speed change we already touched on because it is in the arcane boots change, so we don't need to go on to that one. Bottle changes. How many times is this thing going to get reworked?
Well, so there's a related change that I wanted, because I know Mad tweeted about this before. Can we talk about the bottle and the arcane rune together?
Yeah, I mean...
Because, what the hell?
Yeah, I think it's... that's something I don't understand, and you made a very good point. So it's pretty much what you said on Twitter. It's like, I feel like they're trying to nerf bottle crowing, but on the other hand, they're buffing it. So I don't really understand that change in that sense, but that arcane rune is going to have a lot of impact in mid-game as well, I feel, because that cooldown reduction can actually mean a lot. Like the combination, for example, of Octarine with it. Let's say you play Tidehunter, you have Octarine in this. I'm not sure how it stacks. So when does the reduction apply? If you have Octarine, for example, in that case, so that would have, like, I have actually no idea, but it could be 60 to 70 seconds of cooldown on the Ravage, for example, which is pretty sick when you think about it. You can get 2 of them in a fight without refresher, like just if the fight just keeps on going and stuff like this. So that rune can have a lot of impact, I feel.
Yeah, that was my big issue.
Actually, when I read that rune, I was thinking of a different scenario, which is early game when you're trying to contest the enemy mid laner from getting the rune.
It can be an auto win mid, right?
Yeah, I mean, like imagine a Shadow Fiend or a Zeus getting that rune when you're trying to contest him from getting it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a disaster actually.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
like,
my
then,
issue. Is that
then the
there are
Zeus will
2
have an
points in the
Octarine,
game.
he'll just keep bolting you. The
Yep.
Shadow Fiend raises would be like 7 seconds.
Lina would destroy people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even anybody
guys.
with a spammable, even like a Death Prophet, right?
But
Anybody
hang on,
with
is
a
this
spammable
is
nuke.
this so different to like the Viper that gets the DD rune or
Yes.
certain heroes that get like I feel like haste, invis, DD, they all have potential with the right hero in the right time to like have that huge impact.
I don't know, but those runes are what you're talking about is there are runes that give you a kill on the enemy on your lane opponent, which is obviously a big deal. But we're talking about this rune can not only give you a kill on the lane opponent, but it can give you complete control of the lane equilibrium. It can allow you to damage the tower. It's just to me, we just got done. It's what Matt said. We just got done nerfing like nuke spamming bottle reliant mids for like 2 or 3 patches in a row, and now we're going to do this. It injects a random component into the game that can really affect win probability.
On the other hand, it buffs heroes that are not like those spammers. For example, let's say you play DK mid, then you save that rune for when you want to go for a tower push, for example, and you're gonna have your ulti quite fast. You know, those heroes that rely really on one spell, then suddenly if they just save the rune, and it's not like one objective and they have to wait like 2 minutes or something else. Like they can probably be more active early game.
But Wraith King bottle, level 16 ulti.
How long does it last?
Arcane rune, honestly.
That sounds
How long
good.
does it last?
Is it 50 seconds or something? It's crazy. It's a crazy amount.
Yeah, it lasts 50 seconds.
50 seconds, yeah, duration.
But do you really think it's scarier than the Wraith King with the DD rune?
Yes.
Yes. Like a level 16 Wraith King with 30% reduced cooldown on his ultimate and 50% reduced mana cost is insane.
Actually,
but
he might get
double
reduction
damage
twice, right? So what's the cooldown on this ulti? He might get it twice if he just dies at the beginning of it or something.
I mean, like the point I'm trying to make here, there's gonna be heroes who clearly prefer this rune to any other rune. There's other heroes who hate, like a Phantom Assassin does nothing with this rune really, right? She wants the DD rune. We'll agree on that. So like, there's heroes in the middle where I think it's not obvious, and you're gonna have to wait and see. And it might turn out they want like Wraith King wants this rune over DD. I don't think it's obvious at all though.
I feel that rune, like, it's gonna be important to contest runes mid-game, because I could really see that having a big impact on those huge cooldowns, like, because, like, some, I don't know, DP ultimate, global silence, stuff like this, then people, you're gonna want someone to have a bottle in your team to just be able to bottle it before a fight or before you go for a bigger objective.
All right, let's move on, guys. So for people who were trying to catch up with that one, we're talking about the Arcane Rune after the effects of the bottle changes. But yeah, so the Butterfly is the next item on the list. It seems like Flutter is getting even better. Does it even really matter, however? Like it's
actually, today, even before the patch, I was talking about it because I remember today I played and I turned it on and I wasn't haste. I was pretty surprised actually. I thought it just automatically gives you haste. I think that's actually a good buff.
Well, it's kind of the same thing they did with phase boots in 685, right? They increased the bonus but decreased the duration.
Yeah, but the phase boots, if you cast anything, it goes away. So
they took that out now though.
What I really like about that change is that it makes being literally 6 slotted, not having boots, more viable. I mean, it already did before. Like, sometimes you see, for example, that SF. I mean, back in the days when you would drop your boots, then it would be really hard. Like, you need to have really a proper pick and proper disables, because else you just get kited forever. And with this item, obviously you need to use it well. Definitely when you're winning the fight and when you don't need your evasion anymore. But then suddenly being 6 slotted without boots could be fine, because 35% move speed bonus is actually quite decent.
Alright. Clarity, mana regen. As support's life becomes easier. I don't think there's much more to read in apart from that.
More shaker buff.
Actually, you see a lot of mid players, like for example, I have Fada in mind, but a lot of them, they just get clarities on like Coop and Lina, because they just know that they're not gonna get harassed and they use their spells and they don't have a bottle or something like this. I think it's gonna help people to just always be ready for fights.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Alright, Cloak, resistance dropped. We kind of touched on that when we're talking about the previous items. I think we really need to sit in that one for long. Crimson Guard. Small change. Well, we see this item very rarely anyway. Is this going to increase his chances?
I was just gonna say we barely see it anyway, so any buff would just be good, to be honest.
We've started to see it more though. It's actually been built. It was actually built in a couple of pretty high-profile games the last couple of weeks.
Well, here's probably the bigger question: is there any big changes in the patch which are going to bring up the heroes that work like poorly against Crimson Guard? Like, is Crimson Guard going to become more viable because the hero changes?
Yeah,
I think so too, because Death Prophet got buffed, and this item is really sick against her.
And Shadow Shaman.
I know it's even better.
Yeah, Shadow Shaman as well, yeah.
But who can build this thing? Like, what heroes are also now going to move into the meta that can build this?
Hey, Cap, Bristleback. Cap, Bristleback. Wait, is Cap still here?
I don't know.
No, Cap has gone. Okay, Cap was complaining about Bristleback because he noticed like 3 or 4 changes with with like Silencer, Void, a bunch of these guys that just screw up your cooldowns and stuff and just stop your spells being cast. There are heroes that hard counter Bristleback now.
Right.
So I don't know if he's going to be viable, really.
Cap is gone, Yapsol will move down.
But the hero itself is directly buffed, right? The Bristleback.
Yes, but...
Oh, I guess we don't need to talk about
I actually think Centaur might be more significant.
Or Undying
offlane. I was thinking the same, because Bristleback now has an Ags. I'm not sure how good it is, but I don't know, it could be interesting. Like a late game Bristleback with Ags Octarine or something, I don't know. Like, that's a lot of farm, but still, I think you'd prefer one of those items instead of Crimson Guard.
I am still curious at what point we're going to see a late game strength, like, just stack strength on Centaur and abuse the fact return damage to 75%. Like, a DPS Agi carry against a late game strength stack Centaur, just, it's like he has Perma Blade now.
Alright, does everyone feel like we can move on?
Yeah.
Crit chance! Daedalus change.
What's the maths on this?
Yeah, exactly.
The maths is, so basically, if you're hitting a lot of times, there's not a huge difference. In fact, it's more damage. But if you're only hitting a few times, it's probably going to be less damage. So I feel like this is just a targeted, like, small nerf on Ember Spirit.
Scant. No.
But this is a buff on Windrunner.
On average, damage increases 1%.
Right. It actually does not, like, I don't know. It has nothing to do with attack speed. It's a slight damage. It's a slight average damage increase.
It has to do with attack speed because average damage is relevant over a very large sample, and if you have high attack speed, you'll get that big sample. If you're an Ember Spirit, you're not hitting a lot because you're only slighting.
But then you phrased it wrong because it's about volatility, not. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a very small change, I think.
All right, Diffuser Blade. Agility bonus gets to kick up at the first level.
I think that item, like, it's really becoming better and better. Like, or the last change was already huge. Like the fact that you can just use all your charges, like it made that item way better. And I think it's just getting better and better. Like I would love to see, for example, if you could maybe increase the range to use it in a defensive way, like to purge allies or something. I don't know if it's doable or not, but the range is lacking a bit. That's what I mean. But that item is, I think, it's getting very interesting.
Super strong item. I completely agree. I think the zero cooldown, we haven't even seen the potential of that item yet. It's like,
yeah.
I still think there's gonna be that one game where someone has a diffusal blade and they like purge the whole enemy team and the casters go wild, and this is just an extra buff to see more diff blades.
We've seen it a couple of times where you get the swing of like defensive into aggro, where you're like a PL, you diffuse Orchid off you, then you turn and actually diffuse enemy and are able to fight them. I think that's one of the biggest things we've seen from that change of the cooldown. But the biggest problem is once you hit Diffusal 2 and you lose all your charges, what the fuck do you do with Diffusal Blade, right? You still can't add an extra recipe to refresh your charges.
Yeah, you have to sell the entire thing.
Yeah, at least this gives you more value, the buff. The stats buff.
Has to.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty good when
Can't you just keep buying charges? Even if
no.
Or I guess I never reached that point.
You have to rebuy the entire thing.
Yeah, I'm not a PL player. I'm sorry, guys. I don't spam PL in pubs. I wouldn't know.
Drums of Endurance, the bonus movement speed up by 3%. Is that really?
I actually say that was needed. I don't know. It felt like no difference when you clicked it, to be honest.
But is 3% really enough to make you feel the difference?
It is when you all 5 of your heroes are moving faster.
Yeah.
True. I think it's also important because we were saying earlier, like, I sort of feel like for a lot of heroes, this could compete with the new item. What's it called? The Ogre Club one?
The Dragon Lance thing, yeah.
So, like, if we're saying that new item's really good and it's in a similar price range, similar kinds of stats, then you need to give this a buff to, like, keep it competitive as an item.
I suppose this will make it so we actually don't see any difference when everyone's walking even slower because of their boots, and then it's like, here, have a 3% movement speed bonus. Oh, you're back to normal.
Yeah, I actually don't like how they've handled Drum Period. That they first nerfed the item by increasing the cost, and then instead of rolling back the cost, they're trying to buff the number of charges and the magnitude of the active. It just seems a little bit strange to me.
Yeah, but we haven't got to that point yet. But they also nerfed the Yasha, so.
No, that's true.
Like
hold
that's actually totally fair.
Hold on to the thought, Yapsol. We'll get there, man. We'll get there.
Exactly. I didn't want to say it, but like it has something to do with it.
No, there's so many of these changes that are hard to talk about in a vacuum. Like it's already come up that when you talk about the relevance of a change to Crimson Guard, you have to talk about the relevance to the heroes that are the changes to the heroes that are going to build that item. Because that's how they balance the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna help, but you can buy the full Vanguard in the side shops now. But I mean, I'm not really sure if it's gonna do anything to Vanguard and Crimson Guard, but maybe it's gonna have a bit of impact. Like I could see that that Bristle just camping your safe lane, just being there, and then suddenly he has a Vanguard.
Life does seem to be made a lot easier for Bristle. You can get Bottle from the side shop now, and then you can get the Vanguard from there as well. It's like he never has to go home.
If we go back to what we were talking about, the off lanes pulling as well, Bristleback can just go and stack with core sprays in between waves as well, if he wants to, if he's on safe lane.
Yeah, definitely, and he's one of those heroes that doesn't really care. Like the stacking nerf that we mentioned with the magic resistance, like Bristleback doesn't care. Yeah. He's one of those heroes that actually doesn't get nerfed at all, and he can still like farm ancients, farm everything. And those camps, like I've personally tried it on Radiant. I stacked it like 8 or 9 times. So I'm not sure if that's meant to be or. But right now it's like easily stackable. The box is very small.
Just gut impression from the 4 of you is Bristleback viable now, because he was like statistically and just god awful hero at 685.
I think it's really good. I actually think the Axe is extremely good.
I don't know about that, but I just want to talk about the map changes before we get into heroes.
Oh, we really should. Yeah, I don't understand the map changes.
We'll talk about them after items, man. Like let's not split this up any more than we have to, because yes, everything does like cross over and everything is connected. Just for the purposes of sanity, we try and run through this in some level of order. Yeah. Let's move on. We'll come back to the map changes point as well as some other things with stacks. Mana cost reduced 150 to 100 for the E-Blade. Is this still a thing considering it's projectile? Like you still can't Morphling combo it.
But it's a buff mainly for heroes that like build. For example, let's say you play versus high physical damage, like you need a Ghost Scepter, Juggernaut, Ursa, whatever it is, and then you end up having that Ethereal Blade because it's a good upgrade. Also, you use it on others, but the mana cost is quite high, and you're not necessarily an int hero. Like it could be anything. Like sometimes a carry gets to casual Ghost Scepter or whatever it is, an offlaner. I don't know.
You're an Earthshaker or something.
I was just gonna say, like,
you go for it. You get Ghost Scepter into Ethereal Blade, and then the mana cost is actually problematic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're like an Earthshaker, you'll get Mana Boots, Blink, and then you feel like you need a Knee Blade for your team or something. Someone getting focused down by a Focus Fire or something. It could actually be problematic, the mana cost. It's a pretty good buff, I guess.
Yeah, I like that change.
Alright, Flying Courier cost reduced.
Same story as before.
Supports be happy. Glimmer Cape connected to the cloak changes with its reduction. Does it it's not going to take Glimmer Cape out though, is it? Like
no,
because it's still the ability to make anyone invis.
Yeah, the Glimmer Cape, like it's like 2 reasons. Obviously the magic resistance, but it's also mainly this invis surprise factor, or like both of those aspects of the items are really, really good.
Yeah. Heart of Tarask. It's been cropping up here and there. Is this sorry? Am I just looking at more wonderful things for a bristleback and for a centaur?
But I don't think it's the buff Heart needs though, because that buff goes in the same direction and the problem still remains. I feel like buffing the cooldown, for example, of the trigger on the HP regen would have been way better for that item.
This is the third time we've buffed percentage rate on Heart, right? It started off with like 3, then went to 3.5, now we're 4, and now it's 4.75. It's not made a difference.
Yeah.
I have to go and check now what we started at.
Yeah, it's completely brilliant in that situation where you're somehow getting value of it, but like they don't need to make it more brilliant in that way. It's already got that. It needs to be buffed in a different way.
100%.
Yeah, okay. But like you could also think of it like as a really good buff because like think of like a Slark in team fights. Like if you get out of the fight, you'll be back in a lot quicker this way.
But I feel like he was already quite quick.
But that's part of the issue with the item is that it's most often built on strength carries, which are going to be immobile heroes. So like it's brilliant if you have a mobile hero that can build it, but there just aren't that many heroes with mobility skills that are going to build Heart.
Actually, the only hero I was thinking of was PL. So.
No, all right, I'm down with that.
That makes sense. Actually, that's
the thing is that PL he doesn't build the Satanic. That's the thing. Nor does he like a BKB. So if he gets out of the fight, he'll be back in a lot quicker. It's kind of like the reason.
This is like the same thing that I'm worried about with the map changes. It's like PL was an ass hero for the first couple months of 685, but if you look over the last 6 weeks, he's actually been really, really good. And it's the same thing like Radiant was OP in the early days of the patch, but if you look over the last 6 weeks, Dire has been really, really strong. And I'm worried that a lot of these buffs are addressing changes that the meta has already caught up to, if that makes any sense.
I think Yapsol actually has a point. There was a stage, I don't know if any of you guys remember, there was a stage where in the same week, Eternal Envy on PL bought, I think, 2 Scotties and no Heart, and Burning bought 2 Hearts and no Scotties. And it was kind of like, which one's better? And this kind of pushes Heart for PL over Scotty.
Like, it was basically the only hero in mind. Because it feels exactly like a Slark. You just want to get out of the fight because you have a lot of mobility. Like, it's kind of like the reason why Slark even skills his ulti more and more. It's just because of the percentage base. Like the same thing for Heart, I guess. Like if you think of it that way.
But what I feel is that it doesn't really fix the problem of the item, which is
it's not the problem.
Let's say you have a dot or something, and then the item is completely useless, or I don't know, for example, sieging with Heart. Well, I mean, it was already. What I mean is that if it was meant to work in a game, in a situation, then even with 4%, I feel it would have the same impact. But
absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
I think that's the thing. I think. Yeah, sorry. I agree with what you're saying. But anytime when we're talking about an item change and it's for one hero, like why not just change the hero? If you're changing an item.
No, but my question would be: do you feel, for example, did you feel like the old PL, if you would get Heart, you wouldn't regen fast enough to go back in the fight early enough? I feel you would. That's the point. That's my point.
Yeah.
You felt that you were lacking regen.
But you're both right? It's like it's not a huge buff, but it might be like some small push to buy it instead of a Scotty.
Let's go on because like 3 items down, we have one that we're gonna explode. We're gonna explode about.
Yeah, it's gonna be terrific. You're gonna love this.
Let's get like 3 items down.
Okay, so Helm of the Dominator. I don't think we really care about this at all.
Wait, how much is the creep's movement speed anyway?
It depends.
It depends. It's
actually
like
that's kind of a big
320,
deal.
something about. It's less than this, a bit less than 350.
Yeah,
for most of them.
Okay, so it's actually increasing the movement speed.
Is this a buff to Centaur creeps actually?
I'm not sure exactly, but I checked some creeps. It was like 320. I can check right now.
It's
so
a buff.
Does this actually make the creeps move faster than the heroes?
Yes.
Like so Centaur, Conqueror.
In most cases, it makes it so that if Chen buys boots, his creep army can keep up with it.
Okay, Durkee, you got numbers?
It's not a big change on Centaur Conqueror. I thought that would be the big one. Centaur creep.
The Alpha Wolf is already 350. Most
Centaur
of
is
the bigger
320.
creeps are are less than this. Wildkinder 320, Centaurs as well.
Yeah,
It's
Hellbear is
mostly up to
320 as well.
Yeah, Troll as well. Like it's mostly for the bigger creeps.
Like it's not. I thought this would be a bigger change for like Centaur and Hellbear, just to get in range for those stupidly small AOE abilities. But it's
The Blue
30.
Ogre as well. It's quite a good. The Blue Ogre is way faster. It was 270.
I think that's pretty good, like for Chen Enchantress ganks. Because also the boots is nerfed, so could make a difference.
Okay.
Well, it's for, I should say it's for Dom. I was using Chen as sort of an example for scale, but it's for the actual item.
Okay, so Hood of Defiance. We now actually have an activatable similar to what you get with like a Lincoln Sphere.
No, it's like most similar to it's like a single hero pipe.
It's Flame Guard, right?
Flame Guard, yeah.
But it's only self cast though. Like it's not as though you can do it like Lincoln's where you can give it to somebody else.
It's Flame Guard without the damage, basically.
Yeah.
Well, Defiant, I mean, pipe was always looked at as an item that was too expensive.
Whoa!
What the hell are you?
Get back here! Holy shit, bro!
Come from?
I went into the Dota 2 test client and looked at the map. But pipe has always been looked at as an item that's just kind of too expensive for what it gives you. And Hood of Defiance was a major stepping stone that was definitely too expensive for what it gives you. So this really helps out that sort of in-between scenario. I haven't gotten your pipe yet.
I just realized too we are joined by Cap's esteemed teammate of Team Vegetables.
Veggie Gaming.
Monub. How do we actually say your name?
Munib, like
Munib. Hello, Munib. Welcome, Munib.
Like 2 E's. Like imagine if it was like with 2 E's.
Has anyone ever said your name correctly?
No, unfortunately.
I mean,
have you thought about changing your name so people will say it correctly?
I actually have, and then I realized whatever, screw it, YOLO.
So we just call you Mon.
I like this guy.
Okay, how hard we're on a team together. I didn't even bother asking.
It's the Australian way, man. We fucking shorten everything. Okay, so we want to.
Let's not get to the next item.
We want to talk about the most important things.
Item.
The most important things.
This is ridiculous.
The Ironwood branch now, which is capable of building a happy forest.
I thought it was trolled. I mean, look at the sentence. Planting a happy little tree. Like I thought that was a joke, but it's actually not a joke. It's real.
It's a Bob Ross joke.
I had a question about that. So does the Ironwood branch get used with it, or is it like a cooldown?
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
It does.
Oh, so it's consumed.
Yeah, it's consumed.
I was gonna say, Timber saw new meta. Just have a Ironwood branch till you're 6 slotted, and just keep using it. Whirling death it.
That would be wonderful if it lasted longer than 20 seconds.
You know what you can do with this? Like I went in the Dota test. You can block lanes, and then the creeps they don't go through the lane, they go through the jungle, and then you pull any neutral camp. Like that just I don't understand.
Hang on. Does that actually mean that like offlane blocking is now just been completely changed? Like because we had the cog block and the shard block previously.
The expenditure is just too great though, honestly.
Anybody that wants to bet on it right now, like seriously, either they're gonna reduce the cooldown a little, the duration of the tree a little bit, or they'll make it like Earthshaker's Fissure, where the creeps just stand there. They don't actually like try to path around.
Hang on, have you guys tested it? Like, how many trees does it take to block?
Yeah, like who spends 300 gold to block one wave? Get it into one camp.
4 to 5.
Hang on.
Well, you can think of it like this. Like, you know how the clockwork on Dire offlane, he puts the creeps into the trees on the right?
Yeah.
And then he misses a wave because of that. Because he has to keep them blocked there. But now he can just put the tree and then he goes and takes a full wave of XP.
Yeah. For example, exactly.
True.
Oh, that's
so let's
really
say,
good point.
I mean, so let's say like all the abusive stuff aside, like what are the relevant usages of this? Is this? I think I saw Isosize tweeting that he loves this. It's like you can put up a tree in the middle of a chase and then like.
The big thing is it's a huge buff to juking. Like it's a ridiculous. It is a get out of jail free card at the beginning of the game.
What's the range on it?
But it makes heroes like I don't know, Windrunner better. It's
200 cast range.
So it just creates the tree, right? Like it doesn't give any vision from the tree.
You could potentially.
But it's quite instant as well. Like it's quite fast when you spawn it. Like it's actually quite instant. So,
but that's.
I mean, you know that classic juke when you just like go around the tree. Like it's gonna be. It's gonna happen all the time.
How much do we just wait for like the roaming gankers to come in and they just make a perfect square? Like you actually get the full like tree surround on a hero you're ganking. So you actually don't even need like a Yule Scepter setup. You just need to have 4 Ironwood branches and quick fingers.
They did keep their map changes in mind when they brought this item into play, because if you notice, they opened up a lot of the traditional juking spots a little bit more. There's just less trees involved.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason is they wanted to make sure that you can't just throw down a single tree to block out a whole entire pathway and stop. But it's still going to happen. I mean, there's still going to be plenty of scenarios where it's going to be incredibly powerful.
So is that an indirect nerf to like Lone Druid and Venomancer then?
Sort of. It's like, let's say you try to... I mean, Venomancer could do it back then, right? You just try to dive him and he puts that ward that like you can't dive him.
I was just going to say Veno, yeah.
Yeah, but how do you dive anyone like this with this now? Because he has
I think mostly it's a buff to supports, though, right? It's a buff to supports that it makes you... It gives you a get out of jail free card if you're against a hero that can dive you early in the game.
I think if there's abuses, they're going to deal with it. And for the most part, I don't think we're going to see people running around the map with like tons of Ironwood branches into the late game. You'll have 1 or 2 on you, and then like there's going to be these like high skill plays that are enabled, which I think is really good for the game, that like you can now make certain plays that you couldn't before.
Well,
I like that he's going deeper with it.
You can also eat that tango, by the way. Like, I don't know if that does anything, but you can eat that tree and...
Somebody in chat was saying that it gives you a double duration. Yeah, it gives you a double duration tango.
How many people are going to have like fucked up pathing? Like, what if you put these trees and they block up the pathing areas now?
Well, that's what we were talking about.
It's...
Okay, I think that's like all planned. I think they wanted that to happen.
Block camps with this? It doesn't, right? Is it a unit? Like, can you block a camp with it?
I don't think
it can't be classed as a unit. There's no way it can be classed as a unit. Like, it's got to be an environmental thing.
No, it doesn't give you... it doesn't give you vision.
But what I mean is that if I just run to their camp and I just place that tree somewhere, like a sneaky tree to try to block it.
Flashback to OG and Protector.
90% sure that it doesn't do anything to block camps.
Alright.
Anybody have a test client? Just test it right now. Then we can get a conclusive proof for that.
Should we talk about Javelin so long while you test?
Javelin, the what?
Javelin.
It's the next
anything to say about
this? Everyone happy to move on from Ironwood Branch?
Please.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
To make it more efficient, we should just talk about Javelin, Abyssal, Basher, all of this, which is essentially they're changing it to be more RNG focused, where if you do get the proc, you get a better reward rather than the consistent damage.
Yeah, we said for Abyssal it like makes it's a slight nerf. I mean, it's not a big deal, but they're making it more like you can't just buy it as like a well-rounded damage item. You're buying it for the bash or the stun or.
Which actually that makes a little bit more sense when you compare it to what they did with Daedalus, because they pushed Daedalus to be. They're trying to like increase the differentiation between Daedalus and like something like Abyssal or MKB, that Daedalus is going to be the more reliable damage item, and that these other items are going to be a little more RNG based, right?
I mean, MKB Windrunner is getting really scary though.
I was gonna say the
Drow.
same. Like, let's say you're defending high ground and you have like 3k gold, reliable gold, and you have a buyback. You get 2 javelins instead of a demon edge now, which is way better.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 100%. That's so much damage actually.
Yeah, it's way better. It's like
it's a really neat point.
That's actually really good for focus fire.
Yeah.
Lincoln Sphere?
I like this buff a lot.
Cooldown's actually reduced now, so there's even more time to block, and you get a little bit of extra damage.
Yeah.
So it seems to make this more of a critical item in late game.
I feel like Lotus Orb really hurt Lincoln Sphere. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And they needed to buff the Lincoln Sphere or nerf the Lotus, but like.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Felt like it was needed.
Well,
I still think Lincoln's is too expensive.
Like,
yeah.
I kind of agree with that. That's kind of what happened. Is not only the Lotus Orb, but the meta shifted more towards stat items, and Lincoln's from a pure stat perspective is just awful.
Like if you look
saw a lot more carries building Scatty.
If you look at Morphling, you know, he was always the hero that rushed Lincoln Sphere, right? And
Right.
if you went Treads, Aquila,
Weaver.
Bottle into Lincoln's, it's like 60 minutes is the fastest you get it, and you're looking at 22 as like acceptable timing, right? Whereas other heroes, the Gyrocopter already has S and Y BKB treads, and he's destroying you already. It's just a pointless item, but I don't know. Build-up's too slow.
I was hoping for a cost reduction.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna go the other way, and I actually think we're gonna see lots more Lincolns in this patch. That's like probably the most positive speculation I've done all night, and it's just because of Hex. I think they buffed the Lincolns to push it that much more, but Hex got another buff. So it's like even shorter cooldown. I think Hex was like a year ago, it was like 45-second cooldown, and now it's like 25. I know we're not there yet, but it's the only guaranteed way to protect you from a Hex initiation out of Fog is Lincolns. That's it. So I think this item has to be viable, and they're trying to push it that direction to sort of counteract the Hex.
You can also use the reverse logic in that Scythe of Ice has dropped off significantly because the break mechanic, and that buffing the Lincoln Sphere makes the Scythe of Ice less viable as well.
I think that was the number one thing, is that you used to be able to just like absolutely destroy a Butterfly AM with a Scythe, and now it's like, you know, you can still gank him with that, but the loss of the break mechanic was what crippled Scythe.
Did they nerfed it as well with movement speed, right? They increased the movement speed during Hex from like 300 to 350 or something? Or am I remembering it correctly?
They did. I don't forget how much, but they did.
I don't know. I gotta say, like, Orb destroyed Hex.
Yeah, with the purge.
Yeah.
And Lincoln doesn't do that, so.
And diffused as well with the buff that you can always have a diffuse charge ready.
I actually think Lincoln's is still pretty terrible, but I may be wrong.
It's a nice item. It's good.
Very situational.
It looks really nice, the image. So I mean, it has. I like it.
So I just want to. I mean, I've never been a good enough player to be a professional player, so take it with a pinch of salt. But I feel like Hex for the longest time, before the current generation of Dota, where like all these new items and stuff got added, it was kind of like the ultimate late game item.
Yeah.
And I think that some aspect of that is still there. I think some aspect of that is still there, and the more they reduce the cooldown of that item, the more we're gonna see people like, if you've got that item in the late game, there's always that chance of like you catch someone out. It doesn't matter what they have, unless it's the Lincolns. And
that's true to an extent, but without the passive disable component, it loses so much value as an anti-carry item.
But I have to agree with him, because why Hex is so important in late game in those matches is that it's just that it's instant, and in very late game it's just if you catch one guy out of position and then you force a buyback and stuff like this, like it's what changes the game, right? It's the positioning and being able to catch people without caring about BKBs and everything. It's true that the only thing that blocks the Hex is not even the Lotus. I mean, the Lotus might, but if you just gank him, like it's only the Lincolns.
But let me put the question to you this way, because I think the relevant comparison is, it used to be a year ago that you would have your mid, your Invoker, your Quap, your Storm, whatever, buy a Scythe. Now you have your carry by an Abyssal. And it's the same thing. It's a hard disable. You can initiate with that out of Fog, and the Abyssal is infinitely better. Because without the passive disable component, the Abyssal now does damage. It gives your carry more damage. It's just it's a better solution.
The range on the Hex is way better though. Like the catch range is like blink into Hex is like, for example, you see Venge coming back, and now there used to be a combo that's not used so much, but I mean, swap into Hex is something deadly that there's nothing you can do. Like it's really hard to deal with it. Like this level 3 swap into Hex, like there's literally nothing you can do about it. But for example, Lincoln's blocks it.
All right, let's move on, boys. Let's move on. I don't think anyone really cares about Mantle of Intelligence being removed from the side shop. I don't know what the man.
I take personal offense to that.
I'm actually wondering what the Mantle did to offend Ice Frog. It's like, I'm sorry, you're not available in all stores and dealers.
You know what I think it is? I think he's trying to keep a set amount of items in the side shop.
Yeah,
and because you wanted to add Vitality Booster, you want to add Vitality Booster, so you got rid of Mantle.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And Mantle's just on the chopping block.
Yeah, honestly, it's like nobody ever buys it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they actually have stats like that which show like how many items were actually purchased from the side shop. It's like, well, okay, no one is purchasing Mantle from the side shop.
The only situation you could find is that if you want to go side lane with like Windrunner, Co-op, those heroes, and you want to start with double regen, and then you just buy the Mantle. When you get to the lane, you start with Circlet, double regen, and and the recipe. But that's the only situation I can find, and this is pure hate.
So they added Vitality Booster and Bottle, removed Mantle and Ultimate Orb, right? So they have kept it balanced.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, Monkey King Bar, I think we already went on this more than enough through the Javelin talk. Necromicon? Necrobooks?
Trying to make Arc Warden
I
as dumb
don't
as possible.
want this item to be buffed, honestly. I hate this item.
Yeah, the Arc Warden point's the key thing, right? Because this Arc Warden can make double Necros, right, with his ulti?
Yeah, and if you get the Refresher, you can make triple Necros.
Yeah.
What? Hang on.
God help us all. God help us all.
So for people who don't know the hero, his ulti like copies himself and can use the items he has, including like if he has Necros.
Because then he doesn't share the cooldown on the. Oh, that is disgusting.
Wait, how long does the illusion last?
20 seconds.
Like 40 seconds.
20 seconds.
But the book stays through. The book stays through.
The book stays. Are you sure about that?
Even if the image dies, the Necrobooks will still be alive for the entire.
So that seems imbalanced.
It is. It does seem imbalanced. Yeah. It's a good point, Toby.
Yeah, I got those.
double Midas without having to buy 2 Midases. Yeah, fun.
Oh my god.
Great idea.
You could actually like that hero. If you get like Boots of Travel, Midas, Radiance, Necrobook, you can actually stay in lane for the rest of the game and just have your image BOTing to other lanes and Necrobooking for you for zero. No way you can get punished for it, which is the dumbest thing.
Kill me now.
I don't want to experience that. I don't want to have that in my life at any point.
Honestly. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, there are certain things like that you have to ask, to whom did this sound like a good idea?
It's a bit of a Lycan buff also, because like the Lycan buff is a huge Lycan Necro buff, because the Necros are gonna crit and they have very nice damage already, so that's gonna be quite scary. And obviously the the recipe cost.
Well, Lycan kind of needed a buff though.
Yeah, he got quite significant buff, and I think that Necro is also a bit of a buff for him. I mean, it's probably not why they do it, but it's just a buff.
What I want to see, I am actually going to laugh my ass off when somebody kills Mirana by tanking the arrow with the Necro Warrior.
Oh my god.
That'd be jokes. Yeah.
You're an evil man, Nahaz.
Sorry.
But the range on the Archer, I don't know if it's that big of a deal. Honestly, it's especially it's just scaling. It's the same level 3, and yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Well, they did that. They did that like I think they did that in the last patch. They made because Necro is such an item where Necro 1 and 2 are so bad relative to 3. They've made a couple of changes now where they've made the items scale better so that Necro 1 is a little more viable.
All right.
Yeah, but you shouldn't forget how much like Ember and Gyro and those kind of heroes just ruin Necrobook nowadays.
Yeah.
True. It's true.
That's true.
Okay, let's move on, guys. Orbs and sentries is only an indicator, so there's nothing really there.
There's a new UI though. What's the UI?
It's like it shows you the entire radius of it.
That's very nice.
It's pretty good. It's a nice quality of life. It's a nice quality of life.
It really. I mean, I was saying earlier that there are changes that they've tried to make playing support just a lot more friendly in mid to low level pubs, and I think this is it's a huge quality of life thing.
Honestly, even in high level games, like this sentry change is pretty nice, because sometimes you need to place it fast. Sometimes you actually have to place the sentry very fast, and let's say you want to fight for Roche or something, and they might have a ward, and you don't have time. You have like half a second, because if they have a ward, they're gonna go on you and stuff, and you want to have that sentry placed well. So I think it's nice to just see exactly the range of it.
And notice they didn't make the change to show you where they'll block, because that's something that's important for people to learn and practice and test in lobbies. But this doesn't seem like something they should be punishing people for. Exactly what you're saying. It seems fine that you just see it.
That's pretty big though. XP bounty.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So we've seen a lot recently, especially. Yeah, exactly.
If you get that early D ward, it's insane.
Like we've seen at the summit, they were giving, I can't remember, I think it was VP giving Shadow Fiend like 2 games in a row, the Obs ward straight away, just dewarding as quickly as they could. That 50 XP was big. Having 100 XP
That means
like
when you get the bounty rune, that you're level 2. You're actually already level 2.
Yeah, exactly. From the get-go.
I see more level 1 TPs from supports because of this.
Yeah.
Getting wards down, trying to find out where they ward and their position is.
I see more level 5.
And you already were seeing a lot more of that.
Yeah, but now you're not gonna see like TP into the safe lane to get the safe lane ward. Now you're gonna see TPs mid and getting a ward like at their high ground in their jungle or bounty rune to see if they go for which bounty they're going and to see if they get a ward off.
Does this deter?
That's actually a really good change then.
Does this deter offlaners just throwing down or like incursions into the jungle, throwing down like sentry obs on pull camp? Because you're giving.
I don't think offlanes get an observer ward anymore.
Yeah, they have to be very
based
careful
on the jungle camp, because like the jungle camp makes it a little bit safer for them. They have a little bit of more easier time.
And with offlaners, sometimes like, I mean, you can really take advantage of the fact that the support is not level 2. Like some supports, for example, Lion. I mean, if he just gets really fast level 2 because he found your ops, you might get completely screwed. Like, you're not gonna get anything.
So you can't give free observer wards thrown towards pull camp because
they're gonna have to be very careful with it. Yeah.
You have to be smarter. Yeah. No.
Like for example,
so you guys feel like this is gonna have a big impact on the early game vision battle? You guys feel like this is gonna make gonna change the dynamics of warding and de-warding a lot? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That actually makes it that if that's true could actually make this the most interesting change in terms of watching Dota, because that's become so significant in these programs.
I feel like teams might even prioritize, like if they do find, like let's say an offlaner decides to be like cocky about it and just places in a dumb spot and they find it, they might even prioritize a certain hero getting their quick level 2 and like moving out of the experience range.
Wow.
100%.
At least that's what I would expect it to do.
If you look at like just, I mean, these are off the cuff estimates. We still haven't done it for a lot of games, but if you look at like the win probability estimates, if you find both of the enemy teams observer wards early, like that actually has a huge impact on win probability. That's like getting both bounty runes.
I think that's how it should be, because it should be a big deal, honestly.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Like, also you can think of it like, you know how offlaners when they TP to block the Radiant camp, they put an observer ward outside and they put a sentry ward in the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Now sometimes you can swap
the other way around. Yeah.
The other way around, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, or else we will be here until the sun comes up. Octarine Core is the next
Purely
change.
Earth Spirit. Purely Earth Spirit buff.
Yep.
I don't understand I actually don't understand what does it mean. Can someone explain?
Yeah.
So like, you know how Earth Spirit has like, let's say, I can't remember, like 40 seconds, 30 seconds on his stones to get another stone.
Oh, I see.
So now it's gonna affect it by 25%.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
right.
like there aren't too many abilities, but it's like
Ember, Ricky, was
Ember,
Shadow Demon,
Sniper buff.
Yeah, Shadow Demon. Okay, I see.
I was thinking Ember, but okay.
Who's gonna get Octarine?
Ember's potentially a big deal. He doesn't really have space for an Octarine in his middle.
That's why I was saying mainly Earth Spirit. I feel like he's the only.
Yeah. Well, that's what people were whining about. Ember pickers on Reddit whining about Octarine not refreshing it or reducing it.
Yeah, that's anyway. Are you really ever gonna get an Octarine over another damage item?
Definitely not.
I did.
Exactly.
I
you don't
always
even need more. You don't even need more remnants, in my opinion, unless you're using them like. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, you guys get what I'm saying. Orb of Venom.
Yeah, Orb of Venom. Who does this really impact?
Octarine?
I think that was just.
Oh,
PA. Does this affect PA's dagger? It doesn't apply to dagger anymore, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, it's still. Oh no,
it does.
But it's like, I think that change was just meant to be in the game for a very long time, and it just wasn't. I think it's one of those changes which, you know, it had to be changed because it didn't make any sense. Like, they changed Diffusal, what was it, the Helm of Dominator, Desto, but Orb of Venom would still modify your attack. Like, you know, it was really a bit weird.
Alright.
That's pretty much it.
Let's go on to phase boots. So phase active no longer cancels when casting.
That's a really nice buff.
Yeah, that's what I told you about Naz. That's also an invoker buff, by the way.
Yep.
Exactly. I am actually so happy about that change.
Yeah.
It just makes the item more fun because it's easier now to use the item as a positioning tool to get off spell combos.
Yeah. You don't have to be worried about. Like I remember even with Juggernaut, sometimes when people buy phase boots, they try to Blade Fury and then the phase gets removed.
I mean, it's getting a bit too late to devil's advocate, but I do want to just say, I do feel like this was something in the game that could sometimes distinguish between like a top player and a top player, like, and they have removed something that, you know, there's a possibility for getting the ordering incorrectly with the old phase boots. With the new one, you just do whatever the hell you want and it works.
True, that's true.
I've never.
It's like the Blink Dagger thing, right? Where you get, or it's similar to the Blink Dagger thing, but I think
that
Blink Dagger
used to be. You don't need. I don't think you need that anymore. You don't need like artificial skill caps anymore. Like the game is so complex now. Teams are so good. There are so many heroes and so many viable strats with all the balance that we've seen in the last couple of patches. I don't think you need these sort of arbitrary mechanics that introduce artificial skill caps. Like the skill cap on Dota is just so high that I think you can get rid of a lot of that older stuff.
Also, I mean, I know it's not played at all right now, but it's a bit of a buff for the bounty bounty core as well. Bounty phase boots, we haven't seen it so much, but the interaction between the invis and the phase boots, it was really annoying. Now it's gonna be easier to play as well, and the movement speed buff on bounty is quite useful.
All right, let's move on, boys. Boots, it's boots change. Already been through that completely. Yeah, Quelling Blade, 25 cheaper. Jungle. I don't think that really affects anything else. Yeah, that's what you want to get to. Is ring protection important at all? I don't think so.
It's you're just gonna be able to go to lanes with more items generally.
Right.
Pretty much.
Okay, the Rod of Atos. Cripple cooldown increased from 10 to 12, and now grants units that attack the target 40% accuracy.
Okay, I had one question before we get into this. I don't know who's going to know the answer. I don't know if anybody even knows the answer. What's the interaction with evasion on this? Is it like you're guaranteed the 40%?
The way I'm reading it, what happens here is that if the target has evasion, you will now ignore evasion 40% of the time.
Okay. Are you getting like ridiculously strong. Solar crested like 25% or whatever, how much solar crest is? You'll completely remove it and it become like an MKB.
Basically, if Windrunner activates Windrun and then gets Atos, she now has 60% evasion instead of 100% evasion.
Okay, yeah, that's the way I'm reading. That's the way I was thinking.
Okay.
But
it's a clever change. I actually really like the change.
Yeah, but I don't know about that because like now, this will completely like shut down Fly. Like this completely just shut down the butterfly with the Rod of Atos.
As well. PA.
Yeah, PA as well. Like
PA.
She's 50%.
Yeah, PA gets. This is it's a very, very good item now against PA. Butterfly, I mean,
This is why they put it on Rod of Atos, because they could have put poor man's MKB on so many different items, right? But they chose to specifically put it on Rod of Atos because it's an awkward item, right? It's not an item that a core is going to be able to cheaply pick up. They don't want to go for something like Rod of Atos. This is going to be more like, okay, certain intelligence cores, great pickup for them against the PA, etc.
Certain greedy 4-position supports might even get it.
And then the specific heroes that pick it up don't like directly benefit from it. It's usually they use it for other heroes to benefit from it, right?
Well, it's like also heroes like Death Prophet that are sort of int cores that really have a problem against physical damage carries. Like this is a nice way for Death Prophet to be able to pick up an item and benefit her team.
The biggest hero that buys it that will get a direct buff is Silencer, basically.
Silencer, yeah.
Yeah, but you should also think of it like it now grants units that attack the target. So also Visage can get huge buffs from this.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
That's a good point.
That's actually
because the familiars will now never miss.
Did Lil need any more buffs than he already has?
If it's the way we were thinking about it, unless it's like 40% of the evasion part of it, that might also be a possibility. Like there might be some factoring with with
I actually think it should be like that because
it should be because
I don't think Rod of Atos should just shut down Butterfly and look at the cost difference and the difference in luxury between the items.
But there had to be something, right? Because currently, since they made all the changes with break and Hex not taking things off, it's just MKB, right? That's the only thing there is to deal with evasion.
That's the other thing is that now that Scythe lost that mechanic, it's like int heroes are so weak against evasion, and I think that this was partially intended to address that.
I feel like they should put the whole evasion specifically for Sheep. I think they should have it back for Scythe Device where you don't get evasion. It's an expensive enough item. It's an expensive enough item, like a tier 3 item, where you would expect some sort of in addition to hexing somebody. Well, that's just the way I think about it. I'm not sure if you guys will agree on me on that.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
one way or another. Like the only issue is that when they made the changes, they kind of made buying evasion into a bit of a cheese strat in its own. Like if the enemy team doesn't have someone who naturally buys MKB, suddenly you get evasion items and what do they do? You know, it's
It's gonna nerf that for sure. That's very good actually, because the problem was also that evasion items are quite cheap, like halberd, whatever, just the talisman and Sword Crest. And to fix that, you had to get that MKB. That's first of all a very expensive item, and not an item that you can get as a first. Like you don't go SF like Power Threads MKB. Like you use this anyway. So what I mean is that you would have to survive through the mid game in order to counter it, and usually that's what they would like. Those Huskar players, like that's what they abuse. So if now you just have an answer that's a bit cheaper, it's gonna change completely those like evasion abusing.
So okay. So it says grants units the attack target 40% accuracy.
Yep.
So I don't think it's just gonna completely shut down Butterfly because it says it grants. It doesn't say it's just gonna decrease like 40% evasion from them. So I don't know if that. I think that makes
no. It'll be like the 20. If let's say there's someone with Butterfly, right? X percentage evasion. Does it proc? Yes, no, and then you get the 40% chance of that. Yes, no.
Oh, okay. So it is 60. It is.
So whatever. So let's, for simplicity, right? Say Butterfly actually grants 35% evasion, right? So for simplicity, let's suppose that it grants like, I don't know, 40 or 50, and it's just instead of 50%, you get 0.6 times that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's go on, guys. Spell immunity. It's
necessary.
Yep. No longer
SMY was kind of too good. This needed to happen.
Needed. That was super needed, and also it didn't make a lot of sense that it would go through BKB. It's also a buff to Skadi and a nerf to SNY, which is fair enough, honestly, because
actually it shouldn't be that good.
Actually, today I was actually talking about this because I was playing a game with Shadow Fiend, and there was a gyro against me. I literally just blinked on him, BKB'd, and just kept hitting him, and then he turned on his BKB and I actually killed him just by right clicking.
Yeah.
And I don't think that should ever be the case because Shadow Fiend, like, I think one of his only weaknesses is that he doesn't have that good catch, and this actually gives him pretty good. So even against BKB, so I don't know about that.
No, you're gonna have to get Skadi if you want this.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a really good nerf.
Satanic duration increased by 0.5 of a second. Does this really make a big change? Because normally, with most of the heroes that get Satanic, they're back up to full in the space of 1 second.
Yeah, I feel that change doesn't do too much. Maybe a buff would have been if you wanted to get Satanic on heroes that don't have a lot of damage, or maybe if you wanted to get Satanic early, then buffing the percentage of what you get, but buffing the duration, I'm really not sure what it does exactly.
A hidden troll buff. He has like what 8 stacks of fervor, super attack speed. He gets the duration, that 0.5 second duration.
I'm really confused about that change. I can't really read too much into it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
you guys... actually, if you think of it, the Satanic buff, I think it's pretty good against like hexes and stuff like that because it won't cover the full duration of the hex, so you can actually get a hit or two.
I see what you're saying.
That to me is the single biggest thing is that it used to be that if you got stunned once after you activated your Satanic,
and it's just completely gone.
Wasted.
But... Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now you can actually get a hit or two off. After or before it, so
that's fair. I think that's a fair argument.
Fair enough.
All right, Hex. We've touched on this multiple times already.
Yeah.
Now reduced from 30 to 25. Is there any other points anyone want to make on it, or do you think you made them all already?
No, I think we went through it. Like Hex got
Pretty well.
nerfed, and now it needs a bit of buffs to come back because of the break, like lacking the break.
Okay, Silver Edge, the debuff is no longer dispellable.
Needed that buff, I think.
I didn't even know that, so I don't know.
Hello, Huskar. Hello, Huskar. You're killable
Oh,
now.
Huskar's
Yo,
screwed
Huskar got
anyway.
nerfed to like the absolute
Huskar is
oblivion.
deleted from the
Thank
game.
God, man.
He's actually the
Oblivion,
worst.
finally.
He is. It's
Thank
no longer
God.
worth even mentioning.
Yeah,
the name
fuck
of the
you,
hero.
Jerka.
I didn't do anything. I didn't do
I was
anything.
thinking it.
I didn't do anything.
Silver
okay?
Edge's debuff only lasts a few seconds anyway, and I feel like the strategies you want Silver Edge to shut down a passive are often the same strategy where they have an Abaddon to protect the hero. So it didn't make sense that they could take it off. Like,
Or like natural BKB carries. Like if you got this against PA, she BKB'd and then whelp. There goes my 5200 item. Or
Yeah.
even Slark when you wanna disable his passive HP regen using Dark Pacts it off. Makes it a little bit easier on everybody.
Oh, that's a good point. How long does it last anyway, the debuff?
Like
it's like 3 or 4 seconds. It's not long.
no,
Well, I guess that doesn't matter on a Slark, but still.
no, it's a little bit longer. I think. Is it? I'm not sure.
Are you sure? I don't think.
Let me check. Where is that item? Should be here. It's not here. Right, not here. Silver Edge.
For
The chat's saying
4
5
seconds.
seconds.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
5, yeah.
Okay, it's a little bit long.
Okay, that's pretty good actually. In Slark.
Because the Shadow Dance lasts how long? 4 or 5 seconds?
4.
4.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I'm gonna keep pushing us, guys. Skullbasher change. I think we saw most of that when we talked about the Abyssal Blade changes. Smoke of Deceit is now cheaper for support, so support's life is a richer one.
That's a nice change. It affects mid and low tier pubs, but the limiting factor in high tier pubs and pro matches is the cooldown, not the cost.
It's
so
also like
the
you
cooldown
buy
and
to reset the cooldown, and now it's cheaper. You can just buy it in early game.
Yeah.
Does it
That's
actually
a good
it encourage more level one movements through the enemy jungle? Considering we already talked about like how important it is to control the jungle.
Well, if you're gonna buy it early, then I would assume you would use it early too.
No. Actually,
you don't
that's
necessarily.
right. Like that's
I
a really
think-
that's a really good point that I hadn't
Yeah.
thought of. So please
Like-
make that.
What you usually do with supports, like when you buy a smoke, it triggers the cooldown for the next smoke that you're gonna be able to buy. And
Yeah.
usually with supports, you're very poor in early game. Let's say if you have a bad game or whatever, and then you don't buy the smokes, you prioritize the wards, the TPs, the whatever, and then what I mean, they're gonna have more smokes to work with than you will in the mid game.
No,
You can just buy
that's
the
a really
smoke
good
for
point.
you can just buy the
You-
smoke, for example, now and drop it in base and just start
You
working
buy
on
this.
the
You
other
buy the
to put
smokes
on
and
the
you
other
bank
one.
them.
Yeah, exactly. And now
So it
it's
effectively
50
no,
gold,
that's
it's
right.
easy.
Effectively, what I was saying is that like you change the cost, but you don't change the cooldown. And what Matt is saying, and completely correctly, is that this effectively does change the cooldown because you're gonna buy smokes earlier and you're gonna bank them.
Yeah.
Doesn't anyone else feel that one of the annoying things about smoke is the slot it takes as a support?
When it is stacked
Yeah.
with wards,
Yeah.
do you?
Like
And
if you
also,
have like an
you don't really
arcane,
wanna
magic
see it.
wand, TP, wards.
And you don't really want to show them that you have a smoke,
Yeah,
like most of the
that
time it's
too,
like that
so-
hero
yeah.
is, then you know where they could smoke from if you know where he is. Yeah, for sure it's annoying, but I think you just drop that smoke in base, probably let it in the courier or something, and then use it when you need it.
Pocket Ricky for the pocket smoke.
Forehead.
Did Okay, let's go on to Tango's, guys, because this seems to be like the sustaining lanes has just been doubled.
The
No, it's
Tango
just,
change is very
No,
good.
no,
this,
no.
this is a nerf, right?
Is it a
Yeah,
nerf?
it is a nerf. I
Okay,
think.
so maybe I'm just reading this wrong.
It's like what you could do, for example, back then, if you're an offlaner and you have a sentry and you find the ward, you would just let that ward for a moment, and when
get
you
some
fight the
damage.
support, as soon as the support starts fighting you or he damages you, then you just eat that ward and you fight him, and you can't fight back. I mean, it's double region, so it's really not worth it for you to fight. So you just push your advantage. But now it's a bit different. I mean, it's still good, right? But I feel it's a bit of a nerf because that double region was really powerful. Also, to survive, for example, they go on you, you just eat the ward or whatever, and
I mean,
it's a bit of a nerf, not a big one.
Like, think about it this way: you're not running out of tangos most of the time. That's not like an issue people face. So it's like to last longer is the equivalent of like, okay, you used one less tango, but it's not giving you any greater effect than a usual tango.
No. Scan, it's actually a point that it goes back to a point that you made earlier, that you were concerned that the fairy fire or whatever it is was going to enable diving. This is actually the single biggest thing is that this is an anti-diving mechanic, because you don't get that extra burst regen. You just get it over a longer period of time.
It's a good change. Completely good change.
Okay. Tranquil boots. Armor reduction, thanks to the changes to ring and movement speed, so everything we've gone through before. The Vanguard chance, which we talked about before when we brought out the bristleback.
Yeah, it's like exactly like the Crimson Guard.
Why would you not just make this item disassemblable? But whatever.
You're being triggered, Nahaz.
I am. I've said for like 5 patches now the item just needs to be disassemblable, but whatever.
Alright, Veil of Discord now requires 2 Robes of Magi instead of a 900 recipe.
That's a really nice change.
It's a really good thing. Because Veil of Discord is like really lacking, in my opinion. It's not really the best item for a lot of people.
I don't know if that's the problem, though.
I actually think the item is massively underrated.
Really?
I think it's underrated, but not massively, because I don't know if this is the buff that it needs, but I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's for sure it's a buff. It's nice. It's more int and everything, but I don't think it's the buff that it needs either.
Yeah.
Really? What do you think?
I would have liked to see maybe, for example, the strength buff would have been better than an int.
I was gonna say
yeah, that's actually a good point. I was thinking the same thing.
How is Helm of Iron Will still a component in this item? Honestly.
Yeah,
that's also a good point.
Legitimately, why is that a component in this item?
Well, how else are you gonna make a veil? You need a mask.
It's just hard.
You're a Venom support, or not even support. I mean, Veil, for example, is great on your hero, and many other heroes, int heroes mostly. You get that item with, like, for example, boots and Veil, or whatever boots you have, mana boots. I mean, you're just so squishy. Like, it's not viable. You just can't get it. You need to get another item before it.
So the place where this buff is good, I think, but this is like really niche, is if for some reason core Skyreth Mage becomes a thing, like it was for like a little while at some point. I don't know if you guys think that's actually a possibility. There is that new like cooldown and spell range item as well. If you get the farm somewhere for like an Atos and a Veil plus that new item, that seems pretty scary to me. But I don't know if there's
well,
my
honestly, the only hero
is Bloodstone Aghanims, and that's the truth. And I will always keep it.
Aghanims?
Yeah, man, freaking just mystic flair for days.
The only hero I would think of that this double Robe of Magi would actually help is probably Sand King, that actually buys this item and gets benefit from the intelligence.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. And Sand King
I actually think that Venom does get a bit of a benefit, because that's a hero that has a mana pool problem at like level 6 and 7.
Weren't you Arcane Boots anyway? On
Venom? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. You're probably gonna go Arcs.
Arcane or Ags or whatever. Like you go mana items anyway.
Yeah, mana items. Yeah.
And Octarine as well.
Okay, Vib Booster's been added. Ultimate Orb's been removed. We kind of already went on this before. Is there anything else to read into that with the Ultimate Orb removal from the side shop?
Makes it super awkward buying Manta for like Jugger and stuff, because both Yasha and Ultimate Orb are really far away.
But were you really? Yeah, the most important thing is that it wouldn't have been relevant except recently it was moved from base. This wouldn't be relevant at all if it hadn't also been moved from base to Secret Shop.
Yeah. It's a little bit harder to access for stage and carries. Takes a little bit more time for the courier to get there too. So you're getting basically just a little bit of time added for safe lanes. But I don't know if it's the biggest of deals.
It's just a bit more awkward for some build-ups.
I like the Yasha nerf. Everybody was going 522 MS for free.
Yeah, I agree.
3 items. Shit needs to happen.
Like that casual Yasha, it's getting nerfed.
Yeah. Fits in line with the whole SNY. Really good build-up and really good item in general.
Yeah, I think we all said earlier SNY needed a slight nerf at least. All right, Toby, what's next? Heroes? Or Matt?
Was there anything in the additional changes that was
Pathfinding? Pathfinding was fixed. Yeah. Please support us with your bug reports.
Fucking Durka, they said how many times have they said Pathfinding was fixed?
8, 9, 20?
Like
I don't fucking know.
Every patch, pathfinding is fixed.
Oh, it cracks me. It cracks me up every time, honestly. There's still a bug with TP range finding as well. The amount of times I try and TP to a lane and it goes to a completely like random tower, which is a further distance from the location I clicked on the minimap.
Really?
That pisses me off. Yeah.
I have like had, I don't know, I guess I'm one of the lucky few that just click in the right spaces. But I
Just
never
better
had
than
like
us.
pathfinding or like TP scroll issues. I'm just lucky.
Or better than us. I think that's.
And they fixed
the
bonkers
key.
the mad.
Or I'm just
Very
so
important.
good that I
Chatting Lamau. Chatting Lamau now causes your hero to laugh.
That's a Yapzor buff. 100% Yapzor
No,
buff. Right
I
there.
would prefer Raffle.
Raffle.
Ralph was pretty good. Yeah.
Is that your favorite part of the patch notes, or is the happy little tree line your favorite part of the patch notes?
The happy little tree line.
Happy little tree.
Absolutely.
Doesn't he say
100%.
almighty tree? Not
There's
happy.
only one right answer to that. Okay, so
All right.
are we talking about map or heroes? Toby?
I know you want to talk about the map, but I need another 10 minutes before I've got the test client fully installed to actually look at it.
10 minutes. Oh yeah.
One more thing. Okay, so
Go.
this is just a general question for everybody. It says private lobbies can now set how pause is available in game, unlimited or limited, or no pauses allowed. How do you think that affects the general? Maybe not for the highest levels of play, but for like middle level teams that want to play in, let's say, a league of sorts, where admins may not necessarily be everywhere to enforce things. How do you feel about this change? While we're waiting for Toby's whole client to update. Because like, you can have like, right now I think a lot of the more general rules is you have like 4 minutes of pause time or 5 minutes of pause time or whatever, but this might be able to like.
I think it's a really nice thing for like JDL, where you get like all these random ass Reddit posts about blah 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 such and such volunteer admin didn't enforce the rules. The more
that's what I was.
The more you can give the ability, the more you can give these leagues the ability to like encode the rules into the game client, the better.
That's what I was thinking, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts. So it's good to know that everybody agrees with me.
I don't know that I'm everybody, but okay.
No, I
everybody else is
agree for
asleep.
sure as well.
Everybody else is resident sleep.
No. You have a point.
But-
I think it's just gonna
but
make admin's life easier, and just like the rules are gonna be respected. Like it's just a good change, I think.
Yeah,
There's been a problem recently, actually, in quite a lot of tournaments where admins aren't sure what to do under pressure, and then kind of ask the teams to decide. And I think that's a major issue, because teams shouldn't be put in the position to like either be like
fucking
nasty
each other
people,
over.
or, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it like that. I just wanted to just blunt it out, like, oh, like this admin, for example, in this specific scenario. I just want to say generally. Yeah, you guys, same thing.
All right.
I think we should maybe talk about heroes first.
Yeah,
anyway,
let's go on to heroes,
Alright.
because my patch thing is also now fucking up.
So ready
I was
for
gonna
heroes.
say fuck you, Steam. Like if I didn't hate
How
you
are you
playing
guys?
more.
How are you guys not even through heroes yet?
No, we've
I was
literally
gonna
spent
say-
2 hours just going on items. It's
Pretty sure we're gonna stop
this will be
talked
the
about
longest
a lot of
This will be the longest patch discussion I think in fucking history.
Now
Like,
I've
this-
been drinking. This is gonna get super
this
interesting.
I prepped up for like a fucking half an hour to look at the map and do a video, and
Dude.
you guys still didn't finish up the. Oh god.
Dude, this is like we're actually at a point now where I think we're gonna break Luminous's record of the 4-hour changelog talk.
Well, I mean,
Oh god.
if
You
there's a
just
lot to
compared
talk
us to
about, there's a
Looney.
lot to talk about, right?
Yeah, there
true.
kind of is. All right, let's start on heroes, guys. Let's start on heroes. Okay, so Alchemist.
No free bottle, LMAO.
Fuck that.
Yeah, finally.
Like honestly, like he.
Yeah, that's good. That's a really good change.
It's like I think
love
it was
that
actually Cap the other day that pointed out that basically if you look at a mid alchemist that he doesn't even need the CS. All he needs to do is get the goddamn bounty runes.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
this
true.
this was absolutely needed.
Yeah, now you can easily punish him, like laning Alki versus SF.
Yeah, now,
or co-op
yeah, now
or
he has to
something. It might
actually
be
like
troublesome.
try.
Yeah.
He has to actually try to get his bottle.
Yeah.
300.
Okay.
It's like a wave or two.
Especially after like a lot of people going for the stun now, and just one level in the Grieve.
Yeah.
The Grievel's Greed.
Yeah, it forces them to go. Yeah, that's good. I feel like he did
So
this
like
before.
if they go more levels in the Greed, that means they can get easily be punished. So
Didn't this happen before? I feel like he buffed it, and then people started prioritizing, and then he nerfed it where you have to get more levels into it for it to be worth. Well, I mean, it's still kind of worth, but...
Okay.
I mean, they did upgrade it at level 4 though, so I'm not sure if that's gonna do anything. But like the bounty, I mean, I think it's just a laning, mainly a lane, like early game / laning nerf.
Well, wouldn't you agree that that was where it was primarily needed?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Of course.
You don't ramp up as quickly. That 6 times is not going to be felt. You already 6 slotted basically.
And actually, just really briefly, I love the wording of the Greevil's Greed change. It acknowledging the fact that Greevil's Greed wasn't affected by buyback actually was a bug.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, is anyone anything else on Alchemist? Are you good? We can move on.
I think it's covered.
Cool.
I hope that hero gets sent into the grave. That way we can continue.
It's not Husker. Come on.
Alright, Vayne's become a little bit slower. This combined
I'm surprised the nerf to Bane wasn't a little bigger, to be honest.
This combined with the boost change, is that actually going to really change things, or is it just?
No, I don't
310
think that
is still a hell of a lot. 310 is still a frig ton.
Yeah, he's still amongst the fast heroes, and he has a really good cast range on this. I mean, cast range on the sleep, so he's gonna catch most of the heroes. So I mean, I don't think that buff does so much on Bane.
Like
Come on, guys! It's a 5 movement speed change. Let's not make a 5-minute discussion out of it.
Yeah.
Welcome to our fucking World Cap. Welcome to our World Cap.
Speed, guys.
Hey Cap.
Literally 5 movement speed.
Hey Cap. Fuck you.
Cap, you're on a professional team now. You have to do this depth analysis.
That's what it's all about, man. You gotta read the little details. People want the fine-tooth comb.
Professional Kappa.
Just don't even bring it up so people don't have the opportunity to comment about it. Just go straight to Batrider or whatever.
No, they should have just dropped Bane's stat gain by 0.1 across all 3. Honestly, that's the nerf he needs.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a
Like
really good stat
it's
game.
not. You're not afraid of Bane roaming around in lanes. You're afraid of Bane sitting on your uphill and just man-fighting 2 heroes. So.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Batrider. Let's go to Batrider because Cap loves Batrider.
That's a good buff, really good buff for
Let's talk about the 0.05 change in massive detail, which isn't actually that.
Like the regen is Batrider needed a buff.
Difference.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Offlane bat is a thing now.
Yeah, definitely, especially because of that cam that you can farm and stack and everything. Offlane bat is 100% a thing.
Okay.
That's about it.
Does it actually push him to the off lane, or can we still run him in the mid lane?
Off lane Mango Bat.
Oh my god, who's making coffee in the background?
I think offlane is still better because you have that jungle camp now that you can stack for yourself. Yeah. I think offlane would be the best.
The double Mango Batrider off lane now.
But the point is it adds to his versatility, which is really important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the change is just to make it competitive with other offlaners, right? Because they all freaking have 2 or 2.5 or 3 regen at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they keep buffing the mana break, the flame break, as well. I mean, it's already getting quite strong, so that spell. I mean, the thing is, Bat has not been played so much lately. It's only S4 pretty much playing Bat right now, but I'm pretty sure that spell has a lot of potential. And if Bat is probably played more, people are definitely gonna use that spell better and prove other people that it's super good. So I think that buff also goes in that direction.
Beastmaster, no longer unit targeting, and also changes the call of the wild.
The unit targeting was honestly not good and not reliable at all.
I don't get that. Like
I never even knew he had it. I never used unit targeting. That's
it wasn't reliable. Like if anyone plays Beastmaster, he could tell you like it's not reliable at all. Obviously, the target doesn't move, but
it's the backswing. Like the backswing's the big thing there with unit targeting. Because if you target behind the unit, you get the backswing easier.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you have a
that's why I would always do it.
Yeah, so I don't get the change. If you're actually using Beastmaster correctly, you're always going to target behind the unit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just misleading, right? Like the game makes you think it targets the hero, but it goes to where the hero stands.
Okay, I guess that's why. That makes
it's actually kind of it's kind of like Shockwave, Magnus. So
yeah, the call change is I think bigger actually. Like I don't know, I feel like one of the strengths of Beastmaster right now is that pig, and most people are maxing it first, and basically having the shorter cooldown at maxed out means you can have 2 up together a lot more often than you could before, which is pretty scary.
Huge. And the Hawk as well. The Hawk is a big deal as well. Like you're gonna have a Hawk for 60 seconds and the other for 30 seconds, like which means you can cover 2 parts of the map at the same time for like quite reliably. I think that change is pretty big.
How much flying vision does it have? Like, can't remember.
I don't know how much it is exactly, like the flying vision, but
1,000.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's. I think that's a pretty big buff to Beastmaster.
Yeah, it's pretty.
We've been talking so long. They've actually released an update already. Fix branch created trees blocking AOE. Fix branch created trees path blocking AOE.
Right.
Fixed radiant offlane camp stackability. Drow rangers. I'll just link it to you guys actually.
Yeah, that'll be good. throw it in the chat, man.
Should we talk about Bloodseeker?
Well, thanks to Sun Tzu. He's like, you guys have been talking so fucking long that they're already patching stuff you're talking about.
Wait, you thanked Sun Tzu? That's not allowed.
That's a first.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah,
and I'm not kidding.
Let's just ignore that and move on. Okay.
Is Bloodseeker a hero? Anyone?
I don't know who that character does.
Who cares?
Is it a relevant hero?
No, I don't
from
know.
League of Legends?
No, Bloodseeker is not a hero.
Alright, so Bounty Hunter then.
Good buff.
Yeah.
It's okay.
31%.
I mean, are you gonna change the way you skill the hero? Are you gonna like level Janata earlier now?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Like the roaming bounty hunter, you don't want levels in Janata.
You want
honestly.
So then it's very minor, right? Because it's only for later levels.
Yeah. I don't think that buff
I mean, this could probably just change.
Level 4, moving on.
Yep.
Yeah, just move on.
Yeah.
Cool. Brewmaster.
Another buff. It's been many buffs now.
I'm just glad they changed his bug out. The one that caused Alliance to lose the entire major.
Do you like the way that they're going about buffing the hero though?
I think that one is
primal split.
It's honestly getting quite big. Like I mean, the Drunken Haze is a very underrated spell and maybe underused. But right now 5 seconds. It lasts for what I think it's like 8 or something. So
yeah,
it means
you can have it on like 2 heroes easy.
You can have it now on 2 heroes and it's 75% like miss chance, which is huge. So
yeah,
I think
insane.
That's a pretty nice buff. Like, and obviously the other one, like the Dispel. I mean the what's it called? Yeah, the Dispel Magic. I mean that one is sure it's nice, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. If anything, the Windwalk.
Actually, they buffed Necrobook, so it could be a big deal. Could be nice.
Okay, yeah. There you have it.
Okay.
And is the Dispel magic? Is it magical damage or is it pure damage? Like, would it affect the Lycan Wolves or?
I think it's pure. I think it affects Lycan Wolves. If it's not, I think it should be. I just checked. I don't think it is.
Like he would just instantly kill them like this and do like half damage to Necro 3s. So I think that's pretty big. And also the cooldown is reduced. So.
It's magic damage.
Oh, it's magic. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, Cap, Bristleback.
I think that Axe could be quite scary.
That Axe is actually so dumb. It's actually so dumb.
Yeah.
I actually love
it so
much.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It sounds super crazy.
600 AOE is not a joke. That is actually ridiculous.
It makes the fights impossible. Like you can't.
And the mana cost is reduced.
So
like,
you just press the Nazgul. Like you don't even need to. You just press the hotkey.
Yeah. And everybody gets it.
To me, if this hero gets ahead, can he like? If this hero gets ahead, can he like 1v5 now?
Yeah, he can.
I believe it. He could 1v5 before if he was ahead, and he just runs into people. Now he can do it pretty easily.
When you play Bristleback, you just right-click people, like follow people, and press 2 hotkeys. Spam them. That's pretty much what you're doing with Bristleback Aghanim.
Aghanims, Octarine, and Bloodstone just QW.
I think I've worked out my path to 5k.
Oh God.
Do you guys
Toby, please don't get 5k because then I'm gonna feel obligated to start grinding MMR and I really don't have time.
The funny thing about it as well is that because you don't have to target it, it means you have 2 abilities to make your ultimate get stacks. So even before you go into a fight, you run faster. You already have stacks going for you.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
That's a pretty good point. I didn't think about that.
Here's an extra question. With all these Aghanims upgrades coming in, is this the time when we just see the Alchemist become that jungle buff for all of the cores?
I hope he does. God help him if he does, because I hate this Radiance Manta bullshit. I want to like just end my life every time I see it. I want to see him giving. I want him to be like Santa Claus, just giving scepters to all the good kids.
So you want to be
so you're like a leaf eater,
right?
Okay.
Hey Rubik, now when you steal, Yabzor, when you steal Nazgul, now suddenly you're cool.
Oh.
You didn't fail.
Do you guys like the way they're opening up Aghanims upgrades? In this patch, there's a lot that go to like non-LTs.
I actually really do.
I like it.
Anything that adds more strategic depth to the game, and I think that really does.
I've been testing the water with
I
the
don't
past couple
know
of
the SF
patches.
ulti. No, not the SF ulti.
The SF ulti is weird.
No.
We'll get there. We'll get
Did
there.
not need an X.
Is there any other thoughts on Bristleback before we move on to the wonderfully balanced offlaner?
Not really.
Come on, do we really need to talk about it? It's a 5 damage nerf at level
like
1, it's
nothing.
20 damage nerf at
That's
level
why I want to bring it up, Cap, just to trigger you, Cap.
Yeah, we can talk about Centaur Prody.
Okay, so
Yeah.
prove by the meh,
that's a lot.
Centaur return damage increase.
75% is like, I mean, if you stack strength on this hero against like, if
Actually,
you're against a team that is like running agi DPS or squishy DPS
You
heroes,
just die.
like you have perma blade mail on you.
Did you play Dota 1 when the old strat with
Yes,
Centaur was
yes,
to go like Heart
yes,
Manta
yes,
against towers?
yes,
That's the shit, honestly. I want to see that come back. Heart fucking Manta and just go destroy towers with Centaur.
Dude,
Because of the map changes, the offlaner's offlane position is opened up a lot more, and that's the biggest problem with Centaur is his laning phase and figuring out how he makes it work. Because he's a better offlaner than many others past the 25-minute marker with the Ags introduction, and if you just buff his late game even further, specifically Return is his best late game ability that he has besides his ultimate. This makes this hero a much more viable offlaner if you're talking about games that go past 35 minutes.
Well, what's the
but don't you think that they should?
A little awkward.
Don't you think that they should have just increased the level 1, increased the return damage at level 1, so that he'll have a better laning stage?
But we can't have
Is it that relevant though at level 1? Because if you do the math,
and it's also not relevant. Yeah, he makes a good point.
Because you don't want too much value at level 1 return at later if you have high amounts of strength, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean much at level 1.
You can't have it being a value point.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have it be like 50% and say, oh, it's value now, in laning phase, but then it's so value late game.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think that's about it.
All right, Chaos Knight, Reality Rift.
Still,
I mean, it's nice. It's a big. I mean, actually, level 4, it's pretty decent, but I don't feel like it's
problems with the hero.
It's not the hero's problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
is changing.
Is the next hero the big hero, especially with like Ancients now getting extra abilities?
Chen, dude.
Yeah, Chen. Is he the
Holy
thing?
Shit.
Is he the thing?
Chen is the thing. Chen is definitely the thing.
Yeah.
He's getting really strong for sure. Like this penitence has been buffed so much as well.
It's not even like they're buffing. It's not even like they're buffing him indirectly by buffing the jungle camps and the ancients. They're literally buffing him too with penitence and base strength.
Chen is getting really strong.
And the Sage of Tormented buffs are like super relevant to Chen. I think you get one of those early on.
Would it get
like
plus 2 HP regen?
It's more regen, and it's also the nuke
now.
deals 160 instead of 125 now.
And even the AOE, like that, yeah, getting that creep is actually very good, and for farming as well, farming purposes, like it's pretty nice. It's it's a very good. I mean, Chen is getting quite strong. Honestly, it's hard to say how strong he is, but also with the buff to jungle, like we said, and Chen is one of those, like he doesn't really care about the magic resistance in jungle because he just like auto attack creeps, right, with other creeps and himself. So I think Chen is getting quite big.
Fucking Durka.
Hello, I'm Snith, playing my 202,143rd game of Chen, even though it's the only hero I can play.
No, but the real question to me though is can Chen push now? Because that was the thing that killed Chen to me more than anything else. And Durka, you said this the other night when we talked about it. Was the tier 1 glyph changes?
But I think I think Chen. Okay, I wouldn't say he can push. It's more it's easier to push with Chen. But having that camp there, for example, a way to shut down the offlaner, if you just farms and stack that camp, would be to push really fast the tier 1 tower. You know, back in the days, you would have teams, especially I remember Navi back then, like what they would do is that they would take down your tier 1 tower minute 1 or 2. Maybe with the second wave, they would take it down. With like Shen, Luna, whatever heroes, Leshrac, safe lane, with Edict, stuff like this. And this is how you could actually maybe zone the offlaner or make sure he doesn't abuse that camp. Like, I'm not sure how people are going to abuse that new camp, but that also makes maybe Chen more viable in early game.
I mean,
just to dive between towers and stuff like this.
Like, we don't know where the meta's going to go, if it's going to be like a Chen favorable meta, but it's very obvious IceFrog's trying to give the hero a shove, like, come on guys, play this hero.
I think it's hard for us to say anything about jungle stuff and rotations before we talk about map changes. So
yeah, I completely agree, and that's the problem that I've had with a lot of these heroes is that a lot of the changes, it all depends on the direction in which the meta evolves.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
we can come back to them, I guess.
Sorry, I was distracted by something else.
Okay, Toby, you gonna tweet some cosplay photos now?
No. Actually,
bloody hell!
Agility growth for Klinks. Who cares? 0.3. Clockwork.
Fucking nahas.
Strength growth. Who really cares? Power clock in a circle rather than a rectangle.
Somebody's mic
That's
just
good.
like absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, somebody just got really.
The cogs change is pretty nice.
Is it me?
Okay, explain that to me. Why is it nice?
I think for the first thing that I see is that it's gonna be easier to dodge those cogs. First of all, like, you know, when you just try to run somewhere and then it's the angle makes it that you still like run through it. Now with the circle, I feel you're not gonna get hit by cog unless you really like fuck up with your pathing or your positioning. That's the first thing. It might also have an impact with the what Yabzer talked about earlier, like this clockwork on Dire, just getting the creeps like in the trees on the right. I'm not sure if you can still do it with those new cogs. Maybe you can. Like,
yeah, you can.
You can. All right, then that doesn't change, I guess.
Here's a question: can you use the Tango trees to get yourself out of cogs?
What?
What?
No,
you
I
mean like
know.
Sprout? Yeah.
I saw this coming up before, but can you actually use not the Tango, the Ironwood branch trees, to push you out of cogs, like just like you do Sprout?
I think that depends.
No. It's a totally different.
I don't think so.
You'd need too many.
No. It's just like it depends on how many heroes the circle cogs can contain now. Because like before, when you had the rectangle cogs, they can
according to the chat, the most professional analyst in the scene, ODPixel, has tested this, and you can actually push yourself out of the clockwork cogs.
You can do it with two.
Hang on.
It's like Sprout. It doesn't check for a valid creation. Okay, all right.
But when this is not going to come up that much, right?
You're not going to have two tangos and push yourself out of cogs.
Not tangos.
Tangos, sorry, branches.
It'll become known as the classic branch cog player.
Good lord.
Although
it's gonna get hotfixed. It's gonna get hotfixed.
You know how?
Yeah, that almost has to be hotfixed because that's that happens due to an oddity in the way.
So does this mean now you can cliff people with Ironwood branches? If you actually chain them together, you can push them across the map.
That's not going to be a thing, Toby.
I don't think it's instant as well, so I don't know about that.
You know how there's still bugs with Roshan where you can push him up onto a cliff with like Sprout and stuff. And Fisher.
My God, it's gonna be.
But what was that bug with Chronosphere where you could move the Ancient?
Yeah, what
you guys remember?
That? Yeah,
there was a
bug.
Run
around in circles or something. And
yeah, there was a bug with Chrono where you can move buildings. I wonder if that's gonna fucking pop up in this patch as well with the trees.
Does the circular cog make it easier for Clockwork to decide which direction to run away if he's gonna cog and then run away?
I looked at a picture of it. It makes it a lot easier to see.
Yeah, so maybe that's a nice aspect of it.
Alright.
I also think it might be so you only can trap in. Never mind. That's not true.
Let's go on to CM. With massive buffs to herself. I say massive.
Yeah, I think those buffs are. I mean, they're nice, but they're not really that huge. Yeah.
They have to fix the main heroes. I mean, not
That's the
fix, but like.
goddamn movement speed.
Yeah, if anything, it's
Yeah,
the
she
movement
still
speed or the
feeds.
stats. Like, yeah, she's still like.
Like I get that
built.
she's ice, but come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's already an okay hero, right? She's not like completely
She's not the
terrible.
worst.
It's one of those buff like.
Like she's an okay hero if your team is really, really good.
But it's like it just makes CM even better at what she's good at already. You know.
Well, but that's
kind
kind of the overarching philosophy, right?
Yeah, it's always like this. It's.
Yep.
But that's not a bad thing. Like when we talk about heroes like Chen who can come back into the scene, like a small buff to Clinks, a small buff to Crystal Maiden, 2 heroes who are really good up against him.
Yeah, makes sense.
Actually, the arrow thing as well. So bottom arrow.
Oh yeah, that's
arrows pretty nice as well.
Alright, let's go to Darkseer, another offlaner who well. He's not having a good time here.
The fact that the Iron Shell is purgeable, I mean, do you guys see any concrete like examples?
Doombringer can now lane against the Darkseer by picking up the purge creep.
He could already lane against him anyway.
Chen can now do Darkseer related things or ruin Darkseer's life. Oracle, isn't Oracle in Captain's mode? Doesn't he have a purge?
Yeah, he is.
Oh my god,
great.
that makes my head hurt.
So you're gonna have to ban Oracle, ban the Earth Spirit.
Thinking about Oracle in Captain's mode makes my head hurt.
Stuff. Great
You know what really makes my head hurt?
What?
Alchemist with 5x the bounty. Good thing that's not in. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yeah, Fortune's End it purges. So you don't even have to channel it all the time or for the entire duration. You can just like instantly pop it and it purges.
Hap, you were talking about Oracle earlier, but I guess we haven't gotten to that hero.
I mean, I can get to my speech about Oracle soon.
I actually want to hear that.
I don't know why he's
anyway.
buffed.
So
it was good.
Yeah, let's
we'll get to that when it happens. We'll cross that bridge.
Yeah, let's get to that.
Spammable at level 1, but other than that, Shallow Grave got hurt a little bit from mana costs, and I think the biggest thing being the Weave Flying Vision.
Yeah, I think that's necessary, but he does too much.
Does this mean now the poison touch?
This hero should just fucking die. I hate this fucking hero, honestly.
Oh, come on!
It's so fucking annoying.
It's
like
really
this hero is everywhere. He's just haunting me in every single pub and competitive match I play, and he's like Husker's best friend. So fuck no.
Well, Husker got deleted from the game anyway, so that.
I hope he does too. Fuck this hero, honestly.
Oh,
but these changes are not going to affect the pickability of the hero, right? It's like it's still the same concept unless the metagame changes dramatically. The hero's still going to be there.
The weave thing is a big deal, actually, because that affects his viability in Roche fights in particular.
Yeah, exactly. That's what number one.
Yeah,
and I hated that.
Dude, but do you think to the point that... Sorry.
They nerfed art style a bit. It's gonna be harder to grave yourself by mistake.
So do you think that would have picked Dazzle and like with these changes now like in that situation won't pick Dazzle?
I still think he's pretty good to support. Just Weave was like unnecessarily good. Yeah.
God damn you, Durka! Don't link that shit.
What is he doing?
What?
Look at the Skype chat.
It just came up on the stream because I clicked on the wrong window.
Oh, Durka, Jesus.
Oh.
It's from Reddit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a funny picture.
I just clicked the wrong window. It's actually my fault. I'm just blaming you.
Hey. Talk about Death Prophets.
Alright,
so Death Prophet has a new ability, guys.
Literally the most broken character in the game.
You're just sitting there, Cap, just hoping that we move on, don't you?
Did you just say what I
I'm just trying to keep
Death
the conversation
Prophet,
moving,
down,
guys.
most broken character in the game.
Pudge?
Not even close to Death Prophet. Do you see?
Oh my!
Okay, do you remember Dota 1 Broken Terrorblade with Soul Rip?
Yeah.
Or not Soul Rip.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember how dumb it? This is her, but with charges. You can hit multiple people with it, and all her things. God damn it!
Yeah, I think this is like probably the hero that's the most broken right now.
You think this is more broken than Pudge? All right, that's
easily.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's broken as fuck. Let me be honest, but.
And you know, I like the fact that they say replaced witchcraft with a new ability, but witchcraft
they
is
just
actually
added
part of the
witchcraft
hero
to
now.
everything else.
Yeah, it's like we actually
don't
gave the hero a
witchcraft
fifth
anymore.
spell. You know, everything is fine. The hero has now officially like 5 spells. pretty much, or whatever passives. I think this is completely broken.
But when they add new abilities to existing heroes, those are always ones that get like quite a few tweaks in the weeks to come. So
yeah, she's gonna get tweaked, but as she is right now, hands down the most broken character.
I apologize for cursing, chat. Chat is very upset with me. I think the biggest thing with this is if it didn't have charges, it would probably be fine. But the fact that it has 4 charges.
Yeah, 4 charges is ridiculous. That's actually the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
and since it has the replenish thing, the Octarine. The Octarine.
Yeah, Octarine applies on this.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely.
Great stuff.
So by the way, with Octarine, you drain health from this equal to 20 plus 3.4 max HP for up to 4 heroes, and you get the lifesteal from it.
Guys, it's fine. They buffed the Crimson Guards, so DP is manageable.
Kappa.
Kappa.
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit, this... Okay.
Actually,
what about Doom's Infernal
I like
Blade?
This looks really cool.
Okay, let's go on to Doombringer.
Do you guys remember that character from Han that could teleport to his sword? I can't remember what his name was. But looks like that kind of what's his
name? The thing that I actually like about the Doom changes is the base attack time going up. I feel like Ice Frog's never wanted Doom to be a right-clicking hero, and like just because the farm it gets, it like ends up being able to be built as a right-clicking hero.
Yeah, and that aura as well, like makes him super scary. The Alpha Wolf aura. No, that's a really good change. You're right. I like it as well a lot.
But the difference is here is that he gets nerfed in other areas instead of having extra things added. His Scorched Earth got nerfed to pretty well. Base attack time and Doom.
Got nerfed to pretty well.
5 HP? 5 HP?
5 HP is a lot.
I don't know about very well.
I mean, it's...
I don't know about 2% movement speed.
It's 5 HP, 5 damage. Like 5 regen, 5 damage. So it's 10, but yeah, it's still not that big. But I mean, that new spell though, the Infernal Blade, like it's hard to say how good it is. I feel like it's pretty nice, but I also feel like it. I mean, it's hard. The difference of damages, someone maybe has to calculate or something, because the level death had really nice damage in late game, I feel. I'm not sure if that's gonna be as good.
Yeah, because it does percentage max HP, I don't know.
Yeah, so it might, right? But I'm not sure how good it is.
I just feel like they want you to pick Doombringer as a hero to doom people, not as like this thing that farms all the time and just does whatever it wants.
I mean, to pull a scant and do a little devil's advocate, though, this is 40 plus 5% max HP on a 4-second cooldown for 40 mana is, I mean, that's actually,
yeah, it
really
sounds
good.
quite scary. It sounds really scary, but no, yeah, for sure, it's actually quite.
Well, it
good.
is magic damage, right? So you
but hang on,
like...
that's level 4. Then you're maxing it, right?
Let's say that dooms you and chases you, you're pretty much dead. Like honestly, like you're dead for sure. And that mini stun
now.
Yeah.
But the skill point allocation is relevant, right? Like at what level do you usually max level death? Like that's unless you're changing your
late, but you're not going to max this till very late either. But the claims seem to be earlier that level death was a very nice damage ability in the late game, and that this might not be as good. And I'm saying that I think actually this might be better once you factor in the cooldown.
Yeah, that's
and the mini only relevant point to this, which is the fact that level death you could remove Lincolns, so you actually had an ability to deal with Lincolns by yourself.
Yeah,
that is the relevant.
Listen to the conversation, Cap. We get there.
Wait a minute, but you can't. That's what I'm saying, though, guys. Like you can deal with Lincolns with this too, right? What?
No, I don't think so.
It's like Tidebringer. It's like Tidebringer.
Yeah, it's like steering arrows.
Oh, I see. Never mind. I'm dumb. Okay, too much scotch. All right. Yep. Nope. You're right.
This patch analysis brought to you by alcohol.
Dragon Knight. 12 HP regen. Hello.
Yes. It sounds a bit broken.
Wasn't that how hard it was? Like when it first came out, it gave you a standard amount of HP regen.
Yeah.
Wait,
I mean, we already don't have enough reasons to level stun.
Oh, DK needed a buff.
He needed a buff for sure.
You think he needed a buff? Like he played pretty well.
Silver just still remove it through his BKB anyway, so
that Lina is gonna have whatever 4-second cooldown on the Dragon Slave and the stun because she has an arcane rune. So you need that regen, man. Else you're just gonna leave the game.
Oh, well played.
If you don't have the regen, you leave the game.
Is this the thing I'm interested in? Is this enough reason that if you play Dragon Knight, you might take 2 points in Dragon Blood at level 3, or is it not changing at all the way skilled?
I only went one.
It goes from 3 to 6 at level 2.
Yeah, but then it's gonna be your classic DK me and your support player. You know, you just stun the guy and you see him run at him, and you're like, you stun him and then you click on him and you just, you know.
Or if Illidan finds a new team, you have the no breathe fire build gaining popularity.
Yeah.
Wow. Are we happy to move on to the best hero in the patch?
Didn't we already talk about that hero?
Oh my god, Toby.
I was just wondering if we wanted to revisit her again. Cap, you missed out on the draw conversation before.
No, I heard it. Yeah, no.
But she's so wonderful. Would you really want to move on to the next one, Earth Spirit?
Oh god,
Toby, I don't want to hear.
Let's go back to drawing.
Actually, you know what? I actually do want to talk about Earth Spirit.
I'm actually willing to get Husker back in the game in exchange. Like I just
no.
You know, take Earth Spirit away and
okay. Let's
actually not that much.
No, I'm with Moniv. Moniv, have your say. I'm with you on this.
Do it.
Okay. Let's look at the nerfs that he got. What were the biggest number one issues that we had with Earth Spirit? First of all, Geomagnetic Grip being a free get out of jail free card. Yeah. That was like that was my biggest. Other than his Ebola, all right, we can deal with the Ebola after. The fact that he can save allies at any point in time just by pressing E and clicking them, I felt like it was a really stupid mechanic. Now that you need a scepter to do it, I feel like that alone was enough to put him in captain's mode. Now that Boulder Smash's AoE is also smaller, you have to be more precise with how you kick the boulder, and the fact that intelligence growth maybe not the most necessary, or maybe not the most significant nerf. It's still something, right? But I feel like the biggest thing is Geomagnetic Grip not being a get out of jail free card, which in high level in professional Dota, where people are coordinated, that's like the stupidest thing.
Oh, so, you're 100% like on point with that. That's for sure. That's mainly why the hero was broken. But to me, the biggest issue, honestly, it's this axe. I feel like this axe can be abused and can destroy games. Like it's honestly you know, if pushing high ground versus Magnus is difficult, like pushing high ground versus Earth Spirit is impossible. Like you know, like it's impossible. He's just gonna send that stoned guy to the
fountain
behind the tier, to the fountain. Yeah, so you're gonna have to take a fight close to the fountain. They're gonna buy back. Like this is you just quit the game, like call GG or just make it a draw. We might see draws in Dota. You know, like we're winning, but we can't end because you have Earth Spirit Axe. So you know.
But hey, that's why Sniper is gonna be a new meta. You're gonna have him get that stupid javelin item. Make him hit from 1200 range. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's actually. You have a good point. That's
there's no way. There's nothing right now in this new patch that can counter that.
Maybe there is, but honestly, I'm quite confused. Maybe the range item, like I don't know.
All right, let's go into ET, boys. Let's go into ET, and we'll leave the Spirit where he is.
That's good.
Yeah,
Earth Splitter hurts a lot.
Does it still fix the problem? Like, I don't know if it's really like as much of a problem as we have seen Korra being successful with, like ET. But like ET getting his combo off has always been a problem. Giving this kind of buff, does it make it so ET is viable?
I think ET is viable regardless. Honestly, I think it's a good buff, but I think the hero actually has a lot of potential and is extremely good. It's just not used for a reason that I can't really explain. But
well, we've been saying that for 3 patches now.
Yeah, I think it's not that. I don't think it's something that I don't think it's something that we don't get. I think it's more that there are better people who fit the bill, for the most part.
It's just I think it's just a very difficult hero to use at a high level. I think in terms of risk reward, it's so difficult to land the combo. I think you had to buff. You had to either make Earth Splitter easier to use, or you had to buff the damage when it lands.
Well, the thing is that it's actually very good in this meta, in the sense that people tend to group up a lot and take very early 5-on-5s and push towers. ET is the best hero to deal with that, like literally the best hero. So,
yeah, I guess that is true. I can see your point in why.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I like ET. Natural Order is like amazing.
He's not even so bad at laning. He's quite good at fighting around mid lane. Like, he fits perfectly in this meta. It's just not used for, honestly, a reason I can't explain.
I don't know. I feel like I feel the damage buff is pretty good.
Yeah, the damage buff is pretty good. 50% is.
It was necessary.
Quite a bit.
It was, yeah. Actually, like I've played a lot of games against that hero, and I don't remember the time where I actually gave a fuck about his ulti if it hits me or not. I just dodge it because it's easy to dodge. I don't dodge it because it's like threatening my life, you know.
Yeah, now you're actually like, oh.
Yeah, now I actually have to dodge it like late game. It's 50. He'll just remove half of my HP.
Yeah.
And slow me for even with I think it slows BKB, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty annoying.
Yeah, the axe is pretty good as well. It's the only BKB disarm that exists, actually.
Wait, what's
that
his axe do again?
It disarms over like on BKBs.
Yeah. Oh, that's legit.
So it's one of the best ways, for example, to deal with like some, I don't know, SF Satanic, BKB, you know, those type of heroes. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have to be able to hit it, so it's still, to me, kind of a situational hero because you need to have.
Wait. Does that new item, that ether or whatever, increases ulti range?
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Actually, it's got to, right?
Chris does.
Yeah.
It goes even further.
So Jakiro Axe.
The whole
Oh,
map.
that's gonna be amazing.
Jakiro Axe with the ether or whatever.
Just shut up.
Stand in the fountain and defend the Axe.
Well,
easy.
Or we could, to make Jakiro viable, we could just give him 7 base damage.
That's such a big number. We'll get to that when it happens.
You know, your Aghanim Sand King could stun for that whole bench of the Jakiro ulti.
We have to talk about the fact that Ember Spirit Fire Remnants no longer give vision.
That's
great stuff for the Roshan Pit. Alright, Enchantress.
And the
15 to 12 seconds.
Hero. She has like 3 strength.
It's actually gonna be way easier to kill Ember when he split pushes because you can't see anymore if you wait him on a Spirit or not. On Remnant, I mean, like he's just gonna die. So that's a really nice change.
It's nice though because it doesn't like completely take him out of the game, right? He's still gonna be picked.
I think he's in a really good position that he is right now. I feel like anything other than this would have been pushing in. It might have put him down a little bit too far. This is fine.
I think this is perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enchantress and
minimal change.
She still has 3 base strength and dies to 1 nuke, so bad hero.
And just clearly worse than Chen now, right?
Yeah, clearly worse than Chen.
That wasn't enough. For sure.
We kind of have to throw to our Enigma professional in this chat right now. Mad, Enigma, viable again. Are we going to see the black holes coming back?
I feel bad to be the only one talking about Enigma when we have Yabzor in the convo as well. I know it's his favorite hero, so. But I mean, my Enigma is probably better, right?
Hey!
I was kidding. I actually told him many times that Anyway. No, I think, on a more serious tone, I think it's a very, very good buff, personally. I don't know what Yabzor thinks, but like the Eidolon movement speed, I think it's very nice. I think it's gonna...
That's really good, I love that.
Yeah, it's gonna allow also Enigma to fight back a bit when they just go to his jungle and bully him. You know, he's that guy, like, he surrenders.
Does he actually have better transitions now when it goes to the camps? Especially if we look towards the ancient area, because he's got a camp where he can conversions from and then actually have access to like the ancients.
That as well, for sure, but I really like that.
Depends what ancient camp it is. I don't think you can do rock golems with Eidolons.
Like the biggest thing to me is what Mad was just talking about, that it used to be that you could even be like a support without boots, and you could go and gank Enigma in his jungle. And now, if he has high-level Aghanims, his Eidolons can actually chase you down as a support without boots.
Does this re-enable offlane Enigma with the camp plus movement speed on Eidolons? Because the biggest threat to offlane Enigma was the fact that you couldn't move Eidolons, they'd just be free food. Does this actually open it up again?
Offlane Enigma sounds quite good, actually, yeah.
Actually, what is it?
Actually, that's actually a good point.
Hey, with Midnight Pulse, can he just cut through that?
Probably.
Yeah.
And just easy access to the large camp, yeah.
Okay, that's alright. Russell back in Enigma and now in my pool.
We can't not talk about the black hole cooldown.
20 seconds at level 3, pretty good.
I mean, it was garbage to upgrade before. Now it's less.
Arcane rune, guys. Arcane rune. What?
Dude,
he
getting
black
a bottle
twice.
6 slot bottom Enigma?
Guys, he blackballed twice in this fight. Does he have a refresher? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
has an arcane rune.
Just Octarine Arcane.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would argue the long cooldown Enigma ulti is what's keeping it out of the meta at the moment, right? That can't be.
No, I don't think so actually.
Oh no, you have to be skirmish.
Honestly, this hero isn't even picked for his black hole. It's literally picked just for his farming capability in the jungle.
So you mean because jungling's not in? That's why.
Yeah, because it gets like a.
Yeah, exactly. Because jungle is especially like. Enigma is so strong on dire jungle, and dire jungle nowadays is so easy to punish. It's not like tight spots and stuff like Radiant.
You pick a lot of mids who are really greedy, and they just go into the
you can Shadow Fiend.
Back then you would pick, just give it a try, pick Enigma in a buff, and people back then they would tell you this is great, we're gonna have an early mech, we're gonna push together, let's make space for Enigma. No, you pick it for SF is
and now it's like people abandoned.
SF is like, are you retarded? I need the jungle, man.
I feed courier noob retard.
Wait, if you guys are saying there's junglers every game, does it come back now?
I hope it does. Because I mean mid, personally, my
I don't think you can confidently say it comes back. I think you can confidently say it's no longer like a dumpster tier hero.
What did you do, Toby? Did you burp?
No. I got a subscriber during that, and the sound effect is me screaming about Fly's black hole, which is very appropriate. The fact that we're on Enigma at the time.
Oh my
Good
lord!
Good stuff.
What face?
But I couldn't turn the audio off in time, so
I thought you farted or something.
No,
going nuts.
No. It wasn't anything like that. It's just like they missed a little bit of what you said, but that was all.
Hey guys, is Faceless Void anti-mage?
Oh my! No, he's anti-mage, and he's anti-pop.
But I mean,
can somebody
just jump?
Faceless Void is like the new Storm Spirit. Zip zap.
I just mean like is Battle Fury the build now that he has like such a short jump around?
But the
I
range
think it's offlane Void with a blink.
The range is really small though. You need to take that into account. Like
the range is horrible.
The range is awful, but he has an ability that undoes damage taken in the last 2 seconds on a 6-second cooldown.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's a weaver, he's an anti-mage.
Don't forget the best part, mana cost of 40.
Oh, and by the way, if he's standing next to you as Quap or AM, you can't blink.
Yeah, have fun.
I mean, that's the problem when a hero has a spell and it's the ultimate of another one. Like something is wrong.
Yeah, like this is Weaver's time lapse.
Like Bristleback can't cast spells, right?
Okay,
this is actually
guys,
sick.
This is actually
just dumb.
Just strat. Blink Void, ganking Void on Queen of Pain and Anti-Mage. As soon as they blink, you just blink and time dilation. What are they gonna do? The game's literally over. They can't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. They're dead. And that's
there's really nothing to say.
I'm not even gonna scale Chrono. Like you don't even need it. They're dead without it. This is awful.
We're getting to my favorite character in the game. I'm already feeling it.
Alright, so we'll be back in a week's time to talk about the new changes on Faceless Void to make him work. Gyrocopter, cooldowns, first missile damage.
Not that big of a deal.
It's what he needed, honestly.
I'm actually
he didn't need a big nerf.
I don't think he needed a big nerf. I think he's fine.
This is good.
And he's already getting buffed up, right?
This is like a non change.
Yeah. I mean, they brought back Gyro to like a normal hero, and they nerfed the rocket barrage, like that you can't abuse anymore. Now I think the hero is quite balanced, and that's fine, honestly.
Okay, so Husker.
No, can we skip Can we skip Husker, please? It really.
Husker is dead.
Skip that hero.
And it still really hurts.
Yep.
Like you all the Husker pickers out there, like you're done, and you're never coming back.
Okay. I hope you drop the KMMR where you belong.
There's a simple message to be given to Husker. Fuck you.
Exactly.
Fuck you.
With 2 J's at the end.
But Invoker, yes.
Alright, here we go. Let's go.
Okay. So Husker deleted. Let's talk about Invoker. Cool.
This is something we've been wanting for ages.
Best character in the game. Best mid in the game. Hello.
Alacrity level 2.
Level 2 Alacrity? Hello?
That's sick.
Level 2 Cold Snap and Alacrity. He's no longer a range.
That's not possible.
No, that's not possible.
You can't do that.
Oh, that's right, boss ass. Shut up, okay? Let me fucking...
You're an Invoker player. By cap.
It's Cap left us, has he? We've wasted too much of his time already.
Yeah. All right, so let's.
But I just understood the buff of Invoker, having level 1 Invoke.
It's pretty nice.
Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Level 1 EMP.
Level 2.
Level 1 EMP.
I actually
Zoning them at the rune.
It's level 2 Sunstrike though is pretty big actually. If you go double exort, that's a lot of damage.
It's 175 pure. That's huge actually.
You can choose between Forge Spirit, Cold Snap, or Alacrity.
Yep.
I think the biggest buff is the Alacrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get it on level 2 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, at level 2 you have Alacrity.
Yeah,
Holy
does
that mean
Alacrity is actually like refraction, but like.
That's pretty sick actually.
Does that mean like level 1 Roshan strats are more viable with Invoker now?
Yeah, pretty. I mean,
Hey.
not really, because like you need level 2.
You're not gonna EMP or
Sunstrike Roche, 100 pure damage.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Also, this attribute bonus. I think that's a nice.
By scan.
Nice,
yeah, that's good.
It's a nice little icing on the cake.
Okay, so we lost Scant as well as Cap. I'm surprised the Scant said he could only stay for an hour, and we've been here for what, 3 now?
Yeah.
So he did well to survive as long as he did. I'll move Yapsor's picture over now.
Yay.
Boom.
Alright, Jakiro, base damage
you
increased
can
by
be
7.
Darker.
He hits like a truck now.
Holy crap.
What else is new?
Pretty nice, but
what a buff.
Yeah,
does Liquid Fire, if you use it on like a person, does it also increase your range?
It actually it does. Like if you don't auto cast it, if you just if you basic do it, then yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, I'm on top of Yapsor now. Nice.
Sick. So that means he's pretty good.
Is that nice?
He's pretty good laning support.
Jakiro is such a great hero, such a great fucking hero. And if Chen's coming back into the game as well, like your pushing power is unbelievable with this guy, and your lane presence is just being amplified even more. Like it was already good with Liquid Fire and Dual Breath. Now you want to add like an extra 7 base damage,
and then you get that range item, that Dragon Lance. Oh.
Yep, you can get that. The only problem I see for Jakiro is if we start seeing more of these strength callers on the offlane, like Centaur, for example, that 7 damage is going to mean jack shit.
Oh, looks like we also lost Mad. Rip.
Okay.
Oh no.
Well, this will go a little bit faster then. Okay. We're dropping like flies. I'm surprised Matt also survived this long. It's 5:30.
I'm not dropping until we talk about map changes.
Okay, that's cool. Well, now that we've actually removed the excess baggage, aka Cap, let's move through a little bit quicker. So.
Yeah, Toby, you don't have a picture of me. I'm offended.
What? Don't I? I don't have a picture of you. And even your Skype picture is like, that's not even a fucking picture, bro.
I thought it was your webcam for the longest time.
I didn't even know I took that picture. I didn't even remember that happening.
That
even you?
That happened.
It just looks suspect.
That is
man.
me. It's just me in like dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like a.
That looks like a bad mugshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the ones you see for criminals.
Yeah, you look Mexican.
I'm not Mexican, man. Please. I'm Middle Eastern. I know.
God damn.
Middle Eastern.
Okay. Is anyone
okay, keep
Jakiro,
it light.
Anything else about Jakiro? You good, or we're good to move on to Connell?
Connell.
Okay.
Pretty good bust for him.
Oh, fuck this hero. I don't want
the
this
mana
hero.
capacity, 300 mana Soul Ring. Hello?
I do not want this hero in the game, honestly.
Why do you dislike this hero?
Because he just mana leaks you when you're playing a mobile hero.
Oh, I hate that character. Oh, yeah.
And he deletes the game for no reason. It's like a techies that doesn't plant mines. It's so annoying.
Coddle. That's about Coddle.
Yeah.
I hate
Kunkka. We actually have another set to upgrade.
This looks fun. This looks really
it looks fun.
The
reason why I like this is because Ghost Ship is like a lot easier to hit for like without the whole X thing. Like you could literally do a blink in Aghanim Scepter Ghost Ship and it would work.
Does this actually bring like Kunkka to it's a 200 AOE, but does this kind of like be his own combo. You don't require Darkseer as much.
How does the timing work? Like, is that 200 AoE dragon at the time he releases the ship, or when the ship gets towards the crash site?
As it's going, like even in the release and as it's going, it's like skewer. Like if you get somebody at the beginning of skewer, or even if after, but the difference is they can use.
So wait, Ghost Ship starts like behind Kunkka and then goes forward. So it's the whole line path of it that it drags.
With a 200 AoE of it, yes.
So that sounds like Earth Splitter, but continuous.
Let's say there's 3 heroes like top rune spot, right? Enemy heroes, and Kunkka comes from dire side ramp, and he casts the boat on the rune spot. They get sucked into the rune spot, right?
If they get hit by the ship, yeah.
So wait, does it wait until the ship lands on them?
No,
that's what I'm asking. Like,
it's like a vacuum skewer. It's like a vacuum skewer.
But does the suck-in start as he releases the ship, or when it gets towards them and lands?
Both.
Okay, in that case, you could just defend on dire side and just like whenever someone goes for Roshan, just send the ship towards the hillside.
Yeah, you can do that. That's totally viable.
For some reason, this reminds me of the
wanted to know when the sucking started.
Like, look, but the difference is you can actually like blink out of this. Like, if you have a blink dagger, it doesn't do damage on the way.
Yeah.
So you could blink out of it, unlike Magnus's skewer.
Oh.
It's all about the sucking, Nahaz. You know it.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
This seems very suspect.
I like it. I like this a lot because Kunkka is also one of my favorite heroes. Also, the Tidebringer. Can't talk about the Tidebringer. Yeah. Such a useful buff. Like, you can literally just do your regular attacks in lane and use Tidebringer to deny, like a free deny. It's pretty legit. Because Tidebringer doesn't get used when you do a deny. It stays. So amazing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Tidebringer.
So that's actually kind of broken.
No, not really.
If you automatically have the damage bonus, if you just hold on to it and you automatically have it for every deny.
At least that's. I don't think they changed it. That's how it was.
Actually, I think that's broken as well. Yeah.
Can you cliff people with boat?
You have to. Sure, you have to be able to.
What do you mean, click people with boat?
Cliff.
Oh yeah, of course. It's
if it works the way they're describing, then absolutely.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's like Magnus Skewer. Just imagine Magnus Skewer, but like a little vacuum around it, like a continuous vacuum pulling people into it within 200 AOE. So yeah, Kunkka Tidebringer is actually a really huge buff, and mana cost nerf on ghost ships. That's nice.
All right, Legion.
The scepter is actually so hilariously good.
Yeah, it's so like the previous LC scepter was just such a joke.
And
I think this scepter is actually a little OP.
It's like Poppy's from League of Legends. Poppy's ult. It has this thing where you can only attack each other. So I'm gonna say
is that really good though? Because then Legion can't have any help to get the kill.
Well, we're assuming this is a Legion who's fairly strong in her own right. And if let's say you have like a Dazzle that everybody hates, you could just go up to him and nobody's gonna really help him try to kill you first. You're basically just gonna hit him.
People are saying that the majority of the cliffs have been removed from the game anyway, except around Roche.
That's true.
Holy shit! I'm liking these map changes so much.
Yeah, the map changes are really good.
We're almost there, guys. If we can just move a little quicker.
Nothing really big.
Fasten the pace. I'm getting tired as well.
Yeah, me too. Life Stealer, attack speed bonus increase.
Who cares? I'm just afraid of this Life Stealer getting a dragon and start spitting fireballs every 10 seconds and killing us all.
Yeah, well.
I've played against Life Stealer that farms Radiance like 3 times now. This is without the Dragon Ball thing, the Fireball.
You can thank Loader for that.
It does so much damage actually when I read it. It does like 85 per second for 10 seconds. Something stupid. Imagine a Radiance and an Ion
Still kind of a bad hero though. Lion, nothing too big. Just like actually like barely anything. Lone Druid. I like this buff to Lone Druid. Savage Roar. It's basically like an escape mechanism for him and his bear.
It's like an anti-Berserker Skull.
Yeah. So like, I think Lone Druid's big issue was like he had an issue with escape because he's really slow in bear form, and his bear, like if it's getting attacked, doesn't really have a way to get away.
So this makes him more viable as an offlaner now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just use this roar and then like, all right, I'm out of here. That's good. And then obviously with the same thing with Death Prophet, synergy gets automatically added into his levels.
Yeah.
All right.
Luna. Eclipse Scepter Beam is literally now a minigun. It just goes.
Who cares about that? It's a turn rate. That's pretty good, and especially with that Dragon Lance thing.
And we've had buffs to Satanic Butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Lycan, after we talked about him with the Necro books.
We talked about
Necrobooks can crit now XD.
That's a big buff.
That is like
he is.
I'd also cripple the fact that.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is it worth him getting anything like with the? He's gonna like.
Do you buy
helm?
Necro and Dominator?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, you definitely do that.
But like, what creep would you take to work with?
Personally, I like Centaur for the stun, and then you just maul on him. But
maybe Hellbear.
You can pick Hellbear too. Hellbear is good too. Alpha Wolf maybe.
I mean, all of them are good now, honestly. With the magic resist you get from.
Yeah.
Wait, if you dominate a creep with Helm and shapeshift, you get haste, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not haste. It gets its like 800 movement speed or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's something retarded. Yeah.
All right, so that's Lycan. I think those are kind of necessary. I'm not sure if they're the best for what some people want Lycan to do, but I think it's pretty good.
Magnus.
Scepter Magnus, Empower Allied Hero Aura, XD.
I mean,
I don't think Arise will be happy with this. Actually.
Really?
Yeah. He doesn't care about Empower, man. He just wants.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to help his team. He just wants to help himself.
He wants to be the ballerina Magnus.
And he wants Force Staff buffs and that kind of stuff. He doesn't care about Empower. Neither do I.
This is one of the hardest changes to evaluate. I think it could be really, really strong, or
it's definitely
really
a strong
irrelevant depending on how the meta evolves.
It's the ability to actually get to an Aghanim Scepter on a Magnus, like, because you still want to have your Blink Dagger, you still want to have like your Arcane Boots, whatever, early on. Like, it's gonna take you a while before you get to your Aghanim Scepter, but
that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Is that Blink and Force are like kind of low cost items. Granted, Magnus doesn't farm the fastest, but still, those are pretty low cost items. So I think Scepter's
the
pretty
biggest.
Honestly, I would value Octarine Core before Aghanim anytime.
Well, the question is,
it depends on what your team is.
Yeah,
does it replace range and stuff? Probably, yeah.
Does it replace Refresher after you go on? You're gonna go Arcanes, Blink, and Force. Period. The question is, does it replace Refresher after that?
It doesn't replace Refresher. It's just whether or not it goes 4th or 5th.
The biggest thing to take away from it is the fact that Ice Frog has finally given Splash to ranged units, right? Because he has seriously tried his hardest to stay as clear from that as possible. Because in Warcraft 3 we had the Fire Orb, I can't remember what it's called, which gave Splash to ranged in Warcraft 3. And the only thing we've had, the only thing in Dota we've had is Serpent Wards, which have piercing splash damage. That's the only like ranged thing that gives Splash, apart from like Dragon Knight and Glaives from Luna, things like that, which is like
the big dragon.
Just like artificial splash. There's no like item or anything that gives it directly to ranged units. So I don't know if he's deviating fully, and in further patches we'll see additional items give splash to range, but it's definitely something to look out for, because he's like this is a big deviation from the norm for him, I feel.
Yep.
Can we also get away with Magnus being on the offlane? Because remember, like, one of the original things that pushed him off that offlane was the skewer distance change.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good.
900 is getting close to his original, which I think was like 1100 at level 1, and then 1200, 1300, 1400. I think that's how it was before.
Yeah, so you can you can get away with him on the offlane. Like, there's a lot more escape mechanisms for him now.
Especially with the map changes.
Yeah. Like, it's still, though, going to be that issue. It's like, okay, so you run a Magnus on the offlane. Can you still build into an Aghanim Scepter when you don't put him in the mid, for example?
It depends. Depends on how he works. But probably not.
Yeah. That's what I always, like, a question about, like, any of the Aghanim Scepters. Remember, like, the big Aghanim Scepter patch we got probably, like, 9 months ago or something like that? And we're sitting there looking at all these Ags upgrades, like, is anyone even going to buy these things?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like Legion Commander's one was the big standout. What the fuck is that? Like the biggest crock of shit ever.
Yeah. Really bad.
I actually see it being less useful. Just looking at that, it's a bit like, okay, this doesn't make any sense to encourage people to use it. And that's half the thing. Like, you make all these changes to Dota 2, but unless people are gonna like see it as a useful thing, they're not gonna try it. They're not gonna experiment with it. The scene is very stubborn in that regard for actually using things which are imbalanced. How long did it take for us to use the Abaddon imbalance?
At the same time, though, one of the more interesting things I ran across today was an article about how it turns out in League that they had a patch that in the patch notes they announced that they nerfed a particular hero.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And the nerf never actually got applied, and the hero's win rate still fell like huge.
Yeah.
In games, which I thought was really interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Let's move on from LoL to Medusa.
Medusa. That's actually ridiculously small. Are you insane? 20% of total mana? Literally infinite mana shield.
Well, wait a minute. Well, okay, hold on a second. I have to look up what it was before.
It was a number. It was like it steals like 80 mana or something.
It was more than that. It's like 270 at level 4 or something.
No, it doesn't steal that. It didn't steal that much. It stole
was it
like
not?
a pretty minuscule number.
Oh, okay.
It was. Oh wow. Okay, so it was base mana steal was 65 at level 4. And
really?
Mana steal increase per jump was 35%.
That's what it was. Yeah. So now it's 20% of total mana.
Why do I start feeling like Coddle as well as Medusa are going to be a thing again? Like you'll literally drain him dry.
Actually, no. This is a huge. I'm sorry, I was totally wrong. This is a huge change because what it does for her is it means that she can in a team fight target the spell on like 1 or 2 enemy heroes that have a lot of mana and be huge.
She has 100% mana again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
No, you're totally right.
This is insanely good.
I was looking at it as like in lane and all kinds of bullshit, but no, it's a very, very good team fight ability now.
Yeah. Meeple, I'm really sad. I mean, this is dumb. This needs to happen. I'm a Meeple picker. I'm gonna admit I'm a lots of things picker, but one of them was Meeple. To be fair, I picked Meeple before he was strong and after he was strong, and I'll still pick him now. But this kind of is necessary. Double damage and all Meeple is actually so stupid.
Okay, let's move down.
Bottom.
Mirana, attack range increase, Starstorm radius increase. Sacred Arrow now instantly kills the first unit it hits if it's not an ancient creep.
We're assuming they mean hero as well.
Yeah, I actually.
And Roshan.
That's a very nice. It's a very nice change.
Yeah, I like these buffs a lot.
Yep.
She now has like the highest or like the 3rd highest edgy gain in the game too, from the last patch. So
it was Phantom Hunter, I think, number 1, right?
No. He used to be, and then it got nerfed.
Oh yeah, right. It used to be 4.2.
It used to be like 4. Ridiculous. And now it's
Morphling, trying to buff his offlane potential with adaptive strike and morph, but still feel he's kind of lackluster.
I'm wondering with the changes to E-Blade if there's enough that will inspire some of the hardcore Morphling players to try and bring him back.
I don't think you ever go back to that build, actually.
Yeah, because I feel like Ice Frog's pushing the whole offlane Aghanims more with strength.
Tranquil, Soul Ring, into whatever.
Yeah. Okay. The boring song.
Whatever.
Yeah. Nature's Prophet, base intelligence increase, treat damage increase.
It's a nice.
I don't know if that was needed.
Buff. That was a really strong. I think
it's a nice change to his offlane viability because he'd been getting punished. Like as much as you saw the offlane meta open up in 6.8.5, Nature's Prophet had still been getting punished in a lot of offlane situations. I think this was a good change.
Nature's Prophet's gonna have a lot more space now, like with the changes to the Ember Spirit. What split pushing heroes have we really got left that's as strong as Prophet, or could cancel Prophet from doing his thing?
Arc Warden, forehead.
True. Yeah. Faceless Void could. Yeah. Okay.
Greater treant damage though. That's a big thing too with Aghanims.
Yeah, the damage that I think it's pretty absurd.
Actually near ridiculous.
Yeah, that overall buff is huge.
I don't know if it should be the greater treant damage should increase, but damage is nice, like...
how many times do you really sit there seeing a great treant actually doing anything? And how many times do you even see?
I know. I watched Bulldog play, and he had it like a few times, and it's kind of ridiculous.
But that's Bulldog. Like, increase your sample size.
I'm sure anybody can like last hit with Aghanims. Like they see a low hero HP, and then just go, all right, Wrath of Nature, and then suddenly you have like a 1400 HP, 90 damage treant.
Necro armor increase by 1.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
NS is also like a sure whatever nerf. Like you're gonna have the level 4 anyway, so it's like whatever. Who cares?
Wait,
voice
what?
What?
I mean, that's a big buff for first night. I mean a big nerf for first night.
It is a big nerf.
Huge nerf. I hated that. Okay, next.
Yeah.
Nick's got like a
before we start the debate, the Nick's impale duration.
It's like the lion thing where they didn't like the 2 decimals, so they just like rounded it to whatever number he felt like. Which in this case was 1.6.
I'm gonna round from 1.27 to 1.6 just because it makes me an even odd number.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Spike Carapace 10 seconds was pretty good.
Yeah, get the fucking joke, Durka. Yeah.
He's British. He doesn't get jokes.
It's true. And then he moved to Germany. Even less jokes.
Are you flaming British humor? Hello?
No, actually, I love British humor.
I actually do too.
Yeah.
I'm more flaming you, Durka.
That's what I thought. That's fine, as long as you don't flame, the greats.
Frankie Boyle and Jimmy Carr, they are my life.
Leave them out of it. I was thinking more John Cleese and stuff like that, but okay.
John Cleese was amazing. Yeah, they created Monty Python. England created Monty Python. It's fine. Okay, yeah. So they increased up next a little bit.
Ogre
match at 3 points.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what
base health regen in the game, right? This is the
4 head. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 head.
Well, just why though?
Oh God,
like why?
Why would you say that? Oh God.
Sorry.
Literally, I internally fail fished. God.
Luckily, I actually banned foul fish on my channel.
You can't use the F word.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I fucking hate fail fish. It is the most stupidest fucking emote in history.
You actually banned fail fish.
Yeah, it won't work on my channel.
That's fucking hilarious.
It's actually amazing.
Yeah, because the amount of people who use it should be slapping themselves in the head. Yeah. Anyway.
Isn't that what they're doing though?
Look at my channel right now. Like my channel right now is just fucking censored.
Asterisk.
It's just.
All right, Oracle. This is the one that Cap wanted to talk about, but I'll basically side on him by saying, Ice Frog, what in God's name were you thinking? The hero's already dumb. You just made him like the absolute. Other than this false promise or longer continuously dispelling, other than that, really dumb hero.
All I can say is thank God he nerfed Husker. Because Oracle NCM along with Husker, I mean...
Oh yeah, right.
Oh my God, why would you even...
Uninstall.
I think first pick support.
Why would you even bring that up?
First pick support.
Sorry.
Or being first ban.
The thought of it is just disgusting.
Like, I don't know if you guys are looking at the numbers, but like, this is ridiculous. Like you're having basically on Fate's Edict, you're having like a 2.5 second downtime. The false promise got cut in half mana, and the cooldown is just dumb hero. Anyway, it's dumb hero.
Okay.
How can you possibly balance this?
I don't know. He's a really weird hero. OD.
Yeah. OD is.
Yeah.
I really
I love this. I really like this OD. I feel like this is my kind of OD, not the Midas. Well, I mean, you might still have to go Midas.
Well, I'm really interested in how OD plays out because he's not, the way I'm reading his skills, like he's not necessarily this huge lane dominator anymore.
No, he still is. No, he still is.
How is it?
In fact,
it's on top.
He's better now. He's actually better now.
He's better, yeah.
Because Astral Imprisonment's 4 at all levels, which means at level 1 Astral.
Level 1.
That means you just deny everything from them. It's like ridiculous.
So if you have really good timing, it's easily 2 CS that you stop. Yeah.
Pretty much.
It actually gives OD some way to be aggressive as opposed to what we always saw him, which was passive. TA's got 17 mana, I win the lane now.
But does he really? But does it really matter if he's playing mid against a hero that can just spam nukes? Like the whole thing used to be that he could steal enough intelligence that you had no base damage and you couldn't spam nukes anymore. Now he can imprison you for 4 seconds, but does that matter as much when you can just nuke every wave?
Well, I mean, since they kind of like dealt with jungling a little bit and with the whole magic resistance, it doesn't really matter if you push the lane that much, because the whole issue with pushing the lane was they would go straight to the jungle and then farm, and by the time the next by the time the next thing came, the next wave, you're already there, and you already increased your farm by a lot.
I just see it being crazy that like OD, if you run him as this mid, can imprison someone for 4 seconds. Like, how long does it take for your supports to get into a position?
That's the other thing.
That they could just destroy whoever is there when you got a 4-second setup.
Which is why I like this so much, because I'm of the philosophy that mid, like I'm like a very TI2, TI1 type oriented guy. Like I can play the farming, but I really highly love the whole mid is like a nuker or type of guy who ganks around and makes space with magical abilities that do great things. So this Astral Imprisonment is like that kind of thing where you get like a haste rune. You're not necessarily just bottling it and keeping it for regen. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go top lane. I have this 300 damage nuke at level 4 Imprisonment, level 4, Banish. You can set some things up. That's the way I like it. So
and then you have a standardized timing as well. So there's no like, oh, what level's your Astral? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? It's just like it's 4 seconds regardless of level. So it's always super easy to set up for things as well.
Makes it shit ton easier for Mirana with her arrow.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, God help us, Mirana's definitely coming back with OD, 100%.
Yeah.
There's no way that's not a thing. That is guaranteed a thing.
Yeah. Man, I'm actually even more looking forward to WCA this weekend now, because there's so many obvious combos which the team's going to be using.
Yeah.
Actually, usually after patches in the competitive scene, they just
it doesn't go to captain's mode yet. Oh, no, it does.
It does, but I mean, they just stick with the usual picks.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
Then they discover like later on.
Yeah, it takes time.
Is Team Secret on WCA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like they're gonna be the team that's gonna be I feel like Puppy already mastered this entire draft.
Oh, Puppy's just gonna be there. It's just like
about this patch. He already knows everything about this
Puppy's
patch.
gonna be sitting there. It's like first pick Chen, first pick Chen, first pick Chen.
Puppy's gonna love this dude. Holy.
Second pick Enigma.
I actually want to see that so bad.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, man.
Puppy
happen.
Chen Misery Enigma.
You're gonna get our TZ liking because he's standing in for DC as well.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of great things that are happening.
Yeah.
All right, PA.
The rat is real. PA, yawn.
Base intelligence and all the other changes we talked about before, like Rod of Atos, kind of like fucks her.
Kind of like it.
Who cares? Honestly.
Phoenix
I
kind of like the Phoenix changes.
Okay, I had a question about this. Turn rate increase. Does that mean he turns faster or slower?
Faster.
Faster. Okay.
Yeah.
So then. That's
no
way they nerf
Sunray is a little bit more maneuverable, which is really nice.
Yeah, it was really slow. Like,
right.
Ridiculous.
It still is going to be slow, but
it's slow.
It's still powerful as crap, though.
Tokyo Drift Phoenix incoming. Pretty much what it is.
Wow.
Okay.
Supernova damage. Puck.
That's actually needed. Yeah, I like that.
Is Puck back? Is there a way to get Puck back?
I wish. I said before the patch that I think this hero is gonna get huge buffs. And
I mean, come on though. Level 1 Illusory Orb costing half as much mana?
Yeah, but look at the cooldown timing is also a lot more, so you can get ganked up quite heavily in the mid.
That's the issue. See, if they had only the mana cost reduced and the cooldown reduced for Waning Rift, that might be good.
Hate to say Puck also gets destroyed by OD now, doesn't he? Because how long does that orb flight last? Is it more than 4 seconds?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Puck can't keep pace with mid heroes. It's like off lane or bust, right? But the thing is, with that cooldown, it means offlane is less viable for him.
Yeah, if it's still offlane or bust, then then the changes are completely irrelevant. In fact, it's a nerf if it's offlane or bust.
Yeah,
you'd want
this
that
isn't
lower
going to
be.
be.
Yeah,
if it's offlane, the biggest thing is the cooldown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think not good enough. Yeah. Pudge, all right. A hero I love playing, but then I stopped playing.
Okay.
But I stopped playing because the character got outshined by all these farming mids, and I'm just trying to hook people. All right, boys. 4 seconds.
When are you ever gonna build an Aghanim scepter on a fucking Pudge?
It doesn't matter because you get the Dismember Aghanims for free.
Are you joking?
You kidding, Toby?
Are you joking, Toby?
I'm just
Toby.
Fuck off, you two.
No, I'm dead serious. Like I'm being dead serious. Like I don't know if he's joking, but I'm dead serious.
You realize that you get the old Ags Dismember for free now.
Yeah.
And it also heals you.
Right. Like
I'm not saying I'm 100% agreeing that Pudge should definitely be picked. But do you really want to get an Aghanim Scepter for 4-second hooks
100%.
when you also need to get the... Yeah, okay, bro. Pudge has more options going into the mid-late game, yes. But in the early stages, you're still going to bypass that, right?
But if his build...
Like, this is your build. You go like either Treads for some people or Tranquils for some people or even Arcane Boots, but I don't think so. So it's either like Treads, Tranquils, and then you go into Blink or Urn, obviously Bottle Urn.
You realize, Toby, that Hook is pure damage, and it goes through BKB.
Yeah,
that's 115 damage increase on a 4-second.
You realize that the hero has the equivalent. This is the equivalent of a 600 magic damage nuke that goes through
like
BKB
a Sonic Wave
on a 4-second cooldown.
Now he's back.
I'm actually okay. Look, you guys, don't tell anybody. Just make sure you don't tell anybody, okay? But like, I'm gonna be getting my punch made every game professionally. Sports club. Just don't tell anybody. Sorry, it's gonna be our secret.
Yeah, everybody. Okay, you and several million players out there. Yes.
Is that allowed though?
What do you mean? Is it allowed?
Are you allowed to do that?
I think I am.
Do you actually want to say it louder so people in the chat could actually understand what the fuck you just said?
Everybody is gonna first pick Pudge every game now. Yes. Okay. Fine. Moving on.
It doesn't seem good that Veggie Gaming is picking Pudge though, and he's eating meat. It doesn't seem right.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Contradiction of team names. Yeah, it's obviously a state gaming hero.
Sure.
I think we're moving too slow.
Yapso really wants to talk about the map changes.
Yapso's just pissed.
I'm just sleepy.
Okay,
yeah,
Pugna, the Grove no longer slows allies.
Nice change, not a huge change.
Nice, but whatever.
Yeah, beautiful. Queen of Pain.
I don't.
Who the fuck cares?
Necessary nerfs.
Actually, the Sonic Wave speed is nice.
Frig that hero. Ricky is actually broken, but we'll get to that after.
What in the world is up with that?
I actually don't know what that even. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, he's complete. He's really weak, so I get that. But the ultimate is like, you lost me there, Chief.
I don't understand. I really don't get what the thought process was behind the Ricky. It's like Sleight of Fist. It's like Sleight of Fist 5 times on a 70-second cooldown. I don't know. It's weird.
And it hits everybody at the same time. At least that's the way I think it is. Anyways, that's about it.
Rubik.
It's not just heroes though, is it? It's all enemies in the AoE.
Yeah. Every enemy.
And so you get 4 attacks. You get 4, 5, 6 attacks because you attack once when phasing and then once per second. So it's like 6 Sleight of Fists at one. It's like 6 Sleight of Fists over 5 seconds on a 70-second cooldown, which is, I don't know.
Does that mean like do we push Ricky into that number 1 position and get him a Battle Fury early on?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I kind of don't think so.
Battle Fury is not his item.
I don't think he gets
stats.
Maybe that's the reason why like strength, agility, and base armor are all just massively reduced, so he can't be in that role.
Well, it's also only a 450 area, so.
Yeah, it's not that great. Maybe then maybe there's the diffusal blade build for Ricky.
Dude, Magnus Aghanim with Ricky? Hello?
What?
Hello?
RP into that shit? Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. This is like Magnus and Ricky is now holy. You could kill everything instantly.
To be fair, Magnus and a lot of things. Like, this is what I like about this patch. I really see that a lot of what IceFrog's doing is maybe you can make cases against me, but I feel like he's downplaying the whole farm, 6 slotted in 10 seconds because you can go to jungle camps and stack. It looks like he's going more towards fighting with like the scepters and everything.
I still remember when they released the Lion Axe upgrade, everyone was like, oh god, Magnus plus Lion, Finger of Death AoE, and we saw it like once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move down to Rubik, boys.
Go on.
Yeah, let's move on to Sand King, boys.
Double Burrow Strike cast range, good god.
That's kind of nice, especially with the lens, right?
Yeah. And the Caustic Finale, that's actually a really big deal because the Caustic Finale got increased to 30% slow. And that's pretty good.
That's so much.
That's really annoying, actually.
It's extremely annoying. And honestly, the Aghanim Scepter before for Sand King, like you might say, oh, he lost his epicenter, but like, it didn't do that much.
No, I agree. Like Veil was a better item than Ags.
Yeah, Veil was much better. Like I feel like the build doesn't change. You go, I mean, it changes, but you get like Veil Ags or Ags Veil depending on what the game calls for.
I'm liking Sand King more, but can he? Like we're still looking at support SK, right? Like we're still looking at jungle farming SK to get all this.
Or offlaner.
Or offlaner.
I think, yeah. I think it's pretty legit as offlane.
Okay.
You might. This is brought to my attention, but you might not need blink with double bro strike range. I don't know. I feel like you'll probably still get it, but I mean, what's the Sand King range right now? Like 550? I want to say 550. Maybe more.
It's like 700, I think, level 4.
700?
So you're talking about rushing Ags over blink.
Well, Blink is half
it later.
Blink is half the
650 level
cost.
4.
650 at level 4, so
exactly.
1300.
That's what I'm saying,
Toby. Might not be enough range.
I mean, the idea is you still have to get an item before you fight, be it Ags or before you can really fight with your team, be it Ags or be it Blink, and I'm still going to go with Blink because of the cost.
Yeah, the cost. That's what I was thinking.
You still stun everything, right? Like the double range is like you stun everything in that line, right?
Oh
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
1300 range line stun is holy shit.
Plus the lens.
That's actually so fucking huge. Like it's like we're finding more reasons to remove Bane from the game. Any channeling heroes.
Oh yeah, if you get the other item.
In fact, I'm really worried about heroes like Enigma. You'll have to ban SK if you want to play any channeling heroes like Enigma. Or Witch Doctor as well. Like, if you get that double Burrow Strike range, you can't stop him.
Wait, quick question.
He countered those heroes before, though, right?
Quick question. So, you know that item that increases cast ranges and shit? Does that get applied after the 2x or before the 2x?
And I would bet a good deal of money that it's after.
Yeah, I would say like 1700 Burrow Strike range sounds good to me. 1700, that number, good god. That's ridiculous.
Half the range of a clock hook shot.
SD. Disruption illusion duration.
12 seconds is a frig ton. That's a lot.
Is there any heroes there which you're still looking to copy?
Luna.
I am.
Spectre.
Boom.
I still think Luna is going to be good this patch. Like, there's so many indirect buffs to Luna. Item-wise.
Okay, let's move on to SF.
Scepter, I like Scepter not because it's a good item on him, but because I get to do Requiem, and it does two things. So, like I said, I don't like farming. I don't like going raises and just SNY.
This kind of turns it into a really powerful like plasma field.
Yeah,
I agree with what Cap said earlier. I don't see this as being necessary.
It's not necessary.
I don't think any of the nerfs were necessary. Maybe the armor was, but the fact that they raped Radiant jungle so much, I think that was the biggest nerf for SF.
Well, and in pro games at least, Dire had a 55% win rate since November 1st, which is significant. I don't like in pubs.
Okay,
yes.
That's pretty big. No, I'm talking about competitive.
But in competitive, I think the Radiant nerf is a disaster.
Does SF become a non-hero now?
No, he's still an amazing hero.
No, he's still really good.
He's still really
even though he can't flash farm.
SF?
Oh, he can
still flash farm.
Are you talking about
not at the same rate?
Not the same rate, but he can still do it. Like the biggest thing with this is laning. I feel like laning is a little bit harder for him. Like 90 mana is a lot before your bottle. You can't let's say against somebody that you might want to bottle rush against, and you want to use your raises as quick as possible. It's a little bit harder to do that. And the base armor, like you said, also makes him a little bit weaker, susceptible to auto attacks, which I think is necessary. You can't have somebody who can just explode the wave and get away scot-free.
It makes it so much more difficult for him though to lane shove and then jungle.
Yeah.
Like you've got to add an extra bottle crow in. You've got to add, a support TPing into refill bottle.
This is where the arcane rune comes in.
Hey.
Arcane rune's like the best rune in the world. Love it. Shackles. Go to Shadow Shaman. Shackles.
Yeah. Mass Weapon was now hits to destroy.
I actually really like that change. It really helps him in the late game.
Yeah, I definitely think so too.
There were so many situations where you were Shadow Shaman against an SF, and you cast your wards and he just kills them all in one hit.
Yeah, I think this is necessary.
Question though, with Medusa with split shot, does that count?
No,
I don't think it.
I don't think because the wards are towers, aren't they? Aren't they like towers or like they're wards? I don't know what they are, but they're not units. Split shot only hits 2 units.
Okay.
So it won't hit all the wards.
So then the only other way you get.
I am not confident in that interaction at all.
Yeah. So the other way is just the Aghanim Stro. That would clean up the Shadow Shaman wards very fucking quickly.
You're just so onto that Aghanim Stro.
Well, I'm just.
Toby, actually like.
Dude, I'm looking at how imbalanced it could possibly be, and every time I think of something else, I'm just like, holy shit, this is game ruining.
No, Draw Ranger also doesn't work. And I quote, split into 2 arrows affecting 2 random units. Good game, Toby.
So Mass Weapon mod isn't classed as a unit.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure about that actually.
Because if it did, overwhelming odds would have been getting procced with Serpent Wards. Because overwhelming odds takes units as a.
Oh, that's a good. Oh, I didn't think about that. It's a really good point. Anyway, I don't think it's a huge. I don't think it's a like. Let's talk about the next hero because I actually think Silencer should have been removed from Captain's Mode.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's extremely strong.
This arcane, like Max Curse. I think is now Max Curse now screws certain heroes so hard.
I feel like with all these changes, like the past patch we saw him get an agility nerf, I think as well, or agility buff. I feel like Icefrog's trying to push him as a core, like an actual attacking core. And with this unique attack modifier change, I think it's pretty probable that he's a core, a safe lane, even a mid maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think I like him more as the killing early aggression.
I think Arcane Curse screws certain heroes so bad. Like, okay, you're playing Bristleback. You get Arcane Curse cast on you. Bye.
You can't do anything for 7 seconds.
You're no longer a hero.
Dying. Or you're dying. Yeah, dude, I think Arcane Curse is amazing. Arcane Curse. So yeah, I'm looking to Silencer for being a pretty strong hero in Captain's Mode.
Imagine you're a Bristle against Silencer and Void. You don't do anything. Your spells don't exist.
But imagine you're a Bristleback when Silencer and Void are banned.
Then you're pretty happy with your life, I think.
Yeah.
Then you could do whatever the hell you want.
Skywrath, I mean, it's good. It costs a lot.
No. Who the fuck cares? Let's move on.
Yep, agreed.
Amplified damage. It got the track nerf. I like it.
Yeah.
Frig Slardar.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was so necessary.
Yep.
Storm Spirit got the whole Storm. That's actually a really good buff to Storm. 85 mana at all levels is really good.
I hope this hero never comes back. Honestly, this is my worst.
Man, you can't just have PTSD from the other other patches. That's like saying you don't want to see Sniper again or Troll again.
Yeah, it was like, it was certainly no more annoying than Sniper and Troll, or no more annoying than Tinker.
Actually, it was because man, you have no idea how many times I echoed the floor because of this hero. Honestly.
The Come With Me special.
Anyway, I don't think this changed. Like, I don't think
it doesn't change much about the hero, but it's a nice. It's like I'll give you something. I'll throw you a bone.
It is, but the ult nerf was just so. Oh my god!
Yeah,
it's so
level 1 and 2 got freaking, and 3 just got. Anyways. Sven base damage increased by 4 for whatever reason. Aghanim Scepter Aura bonus damage increased by 25% all levels. Refraction is now always visible. Thank you, God. Thank you, Icefrog. Thank you, everybody on the planet Earth. Now you don't have to count your attacks and each tick on the frigging refraction. Like, oh, I need to do one more hit and then I can do something. That's just necessary, I think.
Terrorblade's back.
I think this makes perfect sense. I don't think he's too strong or too weak. So no changes. Add him to captain's mode. Perfectly fine. Okay. Scepter to Tidehunter. Gush is the most hilarious thing I can just imagine how it looks right now. Ground targeted wave ability that travels for 1800 range.
What is it, like Shockwave now?
Not Shockwave. Do you know? Do you remember? Did you play Dota 1 when Naga had Riptide, but it was like a castable move, and it went in front of you?
No.
Okay, well think of Sonic Wave, and just make it Gush, and it goes for 1800 range, and the AOE is 240. That's the better way I could put it, honestly.
Actually, I think this really helps him late game.
It does. It's really good. Like, it's really strong.
7 seconds cooldown.
Because Gush like reduces armor, does pretty good.
Right. The armor, the AOE armor reduction is a really nice thing.
And the projectile speed, man, 1500. That's like you're sniping people, dude. It travels literally in almost a second.
Hang on, I actually have some very nice person linked the gifs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the gifs of the new abilities. So let me just bring it up, everyone. Boom, boom, boom. So this is. Oh wait, that's the Sand King. God damn it! God damn it! There's a Reddit post which actually links all of this stuff. Wait, I swear I clicked on the Tidehunter Ags upgrade for this. Okay, there it is. Okay, so this is the Tidehunter.
That looks like Sand King to me.
Wait, where are we?
On the stream.
We're behind on the stream. You should.
He's refusing to link it to us, so we have to watch on the stream.
Sorry, do you see that burrow strike range? You're telling me you need a blink after that?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You see that? So like that. That looks really cool.
Oh, nice.
And it travels for 1800 range. That's pretty nice. That's
really
fast.
That's really good.
That's actually really good.
This is the new bristle Ags with nasal goo.
Oh god, this looks so. I want to see it. I need to see it.
It's so funky, man.
And does it give you one warpath stack per cast, or
yes.
does it one warpath stack per hero hit?
Does.
Okay.
That's so stupid.
Your charges go through the roof.
That's so.
And it hits through fog, right?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It just okay.
I don't know. Does it hit? It should hit through fog.
It does hit through fog.
Yeah, goo hits through fog.
Somebody confirmed that for me earlier. Yes. But it only gives you one stack per cast.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew.
Okay.
What happens when there's no enemies?
The Ricky new ulti as well.
That range is a lot bigger than I thought it was. What did it say? Like 550?
Yeah.
Something?
450. It's 450, but it's 450 radius, which means it's.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, that's a good point.
That's actually so damn big.
That's actually really big. That's actually really strong.
Watching it. That looks a lot stronger than I expected.
Yeah, exactly. Well, granted, it's against 5 bots, and he probably has.
What items does that really have, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like he's doing 1400 damage. So.
Okay.
You know.
The clockwork cogs.
Those spots.
Yeah. And of course the lovely lady, the Dro Ranger buff up. Just gonna flag as well that if you have a Skadi, the orb, like the effect actually goes through onto the secondary shots too.
Yes.
All of them go through the Daedalus as well, everything.
I'm telling you, Mjolnir draw could be really fun.
Yeah. That sounds so ridiculous.
It sounds ridiculous, but imagine your farm rate.
It's the build. S and Y Mask of Manus Mjolnir Drow.
You need the Ags.
Wait, does Frost Arrows proc? No, Frost Arrows shouldn't proc. Right?
Yes, Frost Arrows will. Like, it's basically the attack that comes from Dro Ranger. Imagine it when it hits the target, it replicates twice as though Dro Ranger was firing the attack itself.
Okay. So it's like a kind of like a Medusa, but instead of hitting only the primary target, it hits everything.
Exactly.
I got you.
Yeah, it's powerful as shit.
Everybody's powerful as shit, dude. Okay. Except for our poor man Huskar. God forbid. Honestly, frig that hero. Okay, Timbersaw, another one of my favorite heroes. 11 seconds is actually dumb.
Did Ice Frog not watch Sumail play Timbersaw?
That hero is like.
I mean.
Yeah, this is.
11 seconds. He buffed him so hard. Like I'm trying to figure out why he did this. 11 seconds and then 70 mana cost at all levels.
Maybe he's trying to make he's trying to make Ice relevant again.
Oh my god!
Hey, you just picked Pugna, right?
Dude, Sai said it himself. It's just like, this patch is not our patch. It is like, there's nothing about this patch that works for us or for me. And I'm like, yeah. VG Gaming, top team, coming up soon.
So yeah, good lord, Timbersaw, it's insane. Laser, or Tinker, laser buffs.
That improves his laning phase so much.
Yeah, it does. 650
Honestly.
is like, I think you can hit from your hill. You don't have
even
to
even just cast time though.
Yeah, the cast time as well.
If you cast and control backswing, that demolishes people now.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things he struggles with is laser into getting last hits. Now you can control the lane a lot better.
Other thing is also like, sometimes like, you'll obviously see them walking down or whatever to try and laser you. You could just walk back, and then they'll have to like take a hit when they're going back. This makes it a little bit easier to hit laser, and like you said, cast time better. That's a good thing.
Tiny.
Craggy exterior. I swear this was like on the
God.
Fake,
oh my god,
this fake patch notes. Wasn't this on the fake patch notes?
Yes.
So that actually makes sense, right?
The amount of times you blink in with Sven or Slaughter or something, and you shift Q your stun, and you still get fucking craggied. Oh my god.
You know, I lost the game because of this shit, because I had Ember with no buyback, and I right-clicked him instead of... I was like spamming to jump to my Remnant, and all of a sudden my hero just tries to right-click him and I get stunned. I was so surprised, I had no idea what happened, but when I died I opened the thing, I find Craggy exterior 40 damage. I'm like, okay, I just lost solo MMR because of that. That wasn't nice.
Protector, Leech Seed mana cost nerfs, or buffs. Leech Seed mana cost buffs. Pretty good. 80 at level 1.
I don't know why this hero is that not nerf. Buff.
Nah, this hero isn't that good. It's not that good. I mean, he's good. Like with this, he gets a little bit better, but overall, not that strong. Overgrowth, 800 AOE is actually really good. 800 AOE root, it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And then the Scepter, 100 extra range. Troll Warlord, he's gonna, I think, hit max attack speed with this, with proper itemization, or like with regular, like face SNY, Aquila might get you max attack speed with Rampage, or not Rampage. Whatever his ult.
But is he still viable? Because ESP his Whirling Axis was what made him.
Oh yeah, his Whirling Axis is what made him broken. In the mid lane anyway.
But this buffs his Roche, doesn't it?
Yeah, it buffs his Roche. It buffs his man fighting as well. But I don't think anybody ever had a problem man fighting Troll. Or Troll didn't have a problem with man
Troll,
fighting.
yeah.
Yeah, because like, you know, he hits things for a living, that's what he does.
Okay, Tusker.
300 doesn't
Thank God.
Doesn't matter.
How did this hero not get nerfed harder?
I don't think he needs a nerf, believe it or not.
Oh my
I just think there are certain things that were ridiculous about him, like the black hole and the chronosphere issue.
Snowball, period.
Snowball is not that.
Snowball in general is super. I'm surprised they limited to just black hole and chronosphere. Like instead of limiting it to like things like Fiend Script, for example, like he can cancel any of these big channel abilities and just protect his entire team.
I get what you're saying.
Actually, believe it or not, I never felt like that was his biggest problem.
I think
his biggest problem was his fucking shards. The ice shards,
ice
man.
shards was the biggest issue.
Like, it's an instant spell, low cooldown, low mana cost, any direction, high damage, 7 second projectile. Like, how could you even compare like a Fissure to it or anything like that?
Like I meant, okay, when I said nerf, I didn't mean like he doesn't need to get things reduced. Like things need to get reduced, but I don't mean he needs to get like the nerf bat. Is what I meant.
Oh, I thought he was the best hero in the last patch, and I was surprised that he didn't. I was surprised that he escaped a bigger nerf. Like of the two, since they're right next to each other, Undying feels like he got a huge nerf, and Tusk not so much. And I thought it was gonna be the other way around.
I thought so. The same. Yeah, I thought the same exactly. I thought Tusk was gonna get removed.
I thought I struggled to get a huge nerf on him too.
Honestly, I thought Tusk was gonna get removed. I also felt like he was like the best hero on the patch. Throughout the whole patch, like honestly.
Yeah. The reason why I think he needs I think maybe a little bit more than this would be good for him, but like you have to look at it in the context as well. In my opinion, like you can't just say, okay, he's damage didn't get nerfed, his snowball didn't get nerfed, therefore he's still strongest hero. There's like we saw a lot of buffs happening.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Any nerf is much more significant in this patch because so many other heroes got gigantic buffs. But I still feel like Snowball is so. I still feel like Snowball and Ice Shards are just two of the best spells in the game. Still.
I think Ice Shards is really good. Snowball is like a double. The reason why I think Snowball isn't the worst is because it's like sort of like a double-edged sword. It can put you into a disaster situation as well. Ice Shards is like, okay, I'm just gonna block him for 7 seconds.
That's because true. That is true.
And on those mid ramps, that's the biggest thing, right?
Oh god,
if you get that, the level 1 Ice Shards mid ramp, you just fuck.
That's it. You're just first blooded. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I feel like Ice Shards was probably the worst one. I feel like it should have gotten a duration nerf on how long the stupid thing lasts, or maybe even like how it forms. Maybe
I thought they were gonna add a cast point to it and nerf the duration.
A cast point. I was gonna say the same. I thought a cast point.
Yeah, cast point's pretty good. I think
the fact that it's instant is really insane. Honestly, like look at Fisher, how long it takes.
And what about casting shards from inside Snowball as well? Because that was pretty big as well.
Oh, that was never like that game changing.
All right, so Undying, I think got crushed, right? Like, can we all agree on that?
Not really.
Not really.
I think as easy as level 1 Tombstone is to kill, 125 bounty for that is a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I actually think he got. That's a pretty substantial nerf to me.
I think
you know why? You know why I don't feel like it got nerfed as hard as you think? Because every time I see these map changes, there's so many new hills and new like a lot of bad places to fight on Undying.
Yeah,
it feels like.
Yeah, I feel like it's like more of like a balancing thing with the way.
Yeah, but more of them are pathable now, right? Because what he used to do is he used to put his Tombstone up on like a cliff during a Roche fight, and there was no way that you could kill the Tombstone without specifically blinking up there and killing the Tombstone.
Yeah, if you don't have vision.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay, Ursa.
I think Ursa's one of the strongest heroes of the patch. This is like, do you remember when Morphling could morph while stunned?
Yeah, that's
This is basically what this is. That's basically what this is, except
but Morphling had that ability without buying an axe.
True, but it also reduces the cooldown by 12 seconds, and I think it has like, I forgot how much uptime it has.
I don't know what to think about this because Ursa's a hero that already needs a lot of items anyway. Like he needs phase boots, he needs blink dagger, he needs BKB, he needs a lot of items to
Hex or Abyssal.
Or he just gets chain kited. Yeah,
you're right.
Wait, Morph can't morph stats now when he's stunned?
No, not anymore.
Oh really? When did that happen?
That happened like a while. I remember when you were playing Void and you were trying to chrono morph, you literally just want like. That was so stupid.
I chronoed a Morphling. All of a sudden he has 3k HP. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that was pretty disastrous.
That's useless.
Vengeful Spirit.
This seems quirky.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's interesting. I think it fits in with her lore, sort of.
It's the old Warden ability from Warcraft 3, Mayev, where she
it is.
Where she would make a Vengeful Spirit. So it's kind of fitting.
Yeah, that's why I felt like it fit in.
It's nice.
Okay, the chat is arguing with you about the Morphling, by the way. They're saying he can actually do it as long as he starts before he gets stunned.
Yeah, okay.
If he starts
that's
before.
Obvious. That's obvious.
Duh. No, it used to be that if you were Morph and you were farming the jungle at max Agi and you got Chronosphered, you could hit Strength Morph in the fucking Chronosphere.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what we're talking about, chat. God.
Yeah.
Failfish chat, 2K MMR chat, forehead.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, Haz actually got tilted so hard because of that.
Alright, anyway.
Alright, so yeah, I think this is pretty cool. It fits in with her lore. She shouldn't die, like... But she has I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay, did I miss what you guys fucking said? Okay, the chat's now arguing with me. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Move on.
Veno.
Banana's still a banana.
Who cares?
Yay.
Visage,
who cares?
Morph can be toggled on and off while stunned, cyclone, slept, taunted, hidden, or during forced movement. Did they change this and change it back?
Did they change it back?
I'm on the same page as you guys, and I thought they changed it so you couldn't do it while stunned. When was this?
Oh, there's no way. There's no way.
On Dota 2 Wiki, can be toggled on and off while stunned, Cyclone, Slept,
Okay, you know what? I don't trust Dota 2 Wiki. The reason why I don't trust Dota 2 Wiki is because they didn't have the updated they don't have the updated Legion Commander thing to 6.85b. Like, it still says her aghanims, like in 6.85b, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it removed the whole infinite duel, and it gave it like 6 seconds, and then double the duel damage if you win, right? I think, and it didn't have that updated, so I don't know if I can trust it.
This was never changed. Are we just stupid?
No, there's no way. They had to have changed it.
I mean, I'm a little bit drunk, so I've got an excuse. Nahaz as well. Right. I don't know about you guys.
I didn't say anything.
I'm actually testing.
I'm the one confused and tired.
Okay, all right, fine. Chat's right. We're all dumb. Fine.
No, I'm testing this. I'm testing this. There's no way.
Test away, man. Let's move on at least.
Yeah, I'll just talk.
Whatever. Chat's like so freaking out.
Brilliant. Okay, back to our 2K analysis. Warlock. Base rate increase, Shadow Word duration increased a little bit.
Who cares? Honestly, the fuse is buffed and there's other stuff.
You can't purge golems. You can't purge golems.
I'm gonna ask Twitch chat. I'm not gonna ask you, okay?
You can't purge golems anymore. That was changed last patch.
It was. It was changed when you could have like the infinite charges, and like the charges all the time.
Warlock is super good mid laner. Like if you go the Shadow Word stats build, Warlock with like double circlet, go into null, Midas.
Stats? No, you go fatal bonds, man. That's insane. Like, even cancels bottle charges now.
Oh, that's not Slosser's way, man.
You go fatal bonds later, but you go like 2 stats, 2 Shadow Word, and you just dominate lane. There are very few heroes that can actually face up against you.
Okay, let's go on.
Toby.
Weaver. Does it even matter? I don't think it does even matter. I don't think it means shit.
It's a nice.
They take away armor.
Nice
they take away
minor
armor
buff. Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's about it.
Shackle shot is now disjointable.
Thanks.
Yay! And the people rejoiced.
That they did, and the world was.
I actually want to see. I want to see how much.
Windrunner buys is buffed.
I want to see how much in practice the 26 to 23 degrees makes a difference.
Fuck all.
Yeah, that's actually the biggest thing I want to see. Because I feel like right now, like anybody can just click Shackle and it'll latch to anything.
I feel like it's way too easy to land that spell now. But...
They've put that number into placate us all and just like, yeah, we've nerfed it a little bit, but it's not going to do anything.
Okay. Winter Wyvern has been removed from Captain's mode. This instantly, just by doing that.
Oh my god, that hero is so
changes
everything.
Now.
Yeah, I don't know. That seemed like a little bit much.
This hero is this is the Tinker nerf of 6.86. Like this hero and Husker are now like just garbage.
But the funny thing is that they removed him from Captain's mode. That you do that when you normally overbuff a hero.
Temporarily. Yeah, well. So they're gonna do something with it. Soonish.
But it might have been like some bug checks. It might have been like, okay, make sure this interaction's still like this. Maybe you didn't have enough time to look it over while they were still testing it.
Maybe.
It'll be back next week and nobody will pick it.
Yeah. Maybe that was also the mental plan. Like they just completely nerf the shit out of it, and then they'll buff it up again. But most people will just forget about him anyway. Let's ignore him. Witch Doctor, Malediction, cast range increased by 50.
That's pretty good.
It's very nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yep.
I don't know that it makes that big a difference in the hero's competitive viability, but it makes him a lot more friendly to play in pubs, that's for sure.
With every cast range, we just add another 200 to it, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Everyone's buying that item.
Everybody that I've talked to about that item seems to be taking it for granted that's in the new Glimmer Cape.
I'm joking around a little bit, but I think it's a strong item, but it's not going to be
very, very good.
It's not going to be as prevalent as we're kind of making it out to be. But serious question: will that increase the cast range of Death Ward as well? Can you like throw Death Ward down an additional 200 range away from you? I'm assuming so.
Wow.
Because that would be actually pretty big.
I think you can, because Veno can throw Plague Wards farther.
Okay.
Oof.
Like, an additional 200 range on Death Ward isn't minor.
What?
What?
Oh my god, you can actually do it.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm 2K MMR. I'm uninstalling Dota and going straight to League of Legends.
See ya, guys. I'm gone as well.
Later.
What?
Alright. And Wraith King, this is a mini version of the...
Alright, this is where I say sorry.
Sorry, chat.
Goddamn Mexican.
Chat was right.
Yeah. Wraith King, Vampire Guard, toggle on and off. Brilliant, wonderful. Now you can skill it without having to push the lane out without wanting to. Wonderful times.
Yay.
Okay, now let's look at the map. Let's do the map. Let's talk about the map.
Okay.
How about we do that tomorrow?
Quick comments on the map, and then I'm going to bed. I don't understand
There's-
why they nerfed Radiant because
There's a couple of images. We just follow
was
this.
really good.
We just follow this. We go one image by one image.
Wait, really? That's what you think? Haas?
Yeah, Dire was like in pubs, in like pubs all the way up to until you got to the highest level. Every hero was stronger on Radiant, but in competitive, since November 1st, Dire was like 55% win rate. So
holy shit, I'm so surprised actually. That
No, a lot of the big teams have been picking Dire, so I don't know. I feel like the Radiant jungle was actually kind of ass because it had become pretty much standard practice in pro level games, at least in tier 1 and 2 teams, that pretty much everybody on the Dire side would TP to the bot T1 tower and go ward the Radiant jungle, and so that Radiant pull camp in pro games was getting utilized very rarely. So I don't know. It's ironic because that itself was a reversal from the earlier trend. Like all throughout the summer, the good teams were picking Radiant and just out farming, but then teams responded at the highest levels by getting really good at countering the Radiant jungle. So yeah.
But don't you think it's easier to counter a Dire jungle than Radiant? I mean, before, not now. I mean, yeah, now the patch hasn't been shipped out yet.
Invading Dire was easier for sure.
It's way easier. Like, look how many choke points are at in Radiant jungle. Honestly, it's almost impossible to fight in any place, especially that the big camp was so. Yeah, I mean, now
you got 2 paths from the river up, and you got 2 paths from the mid lane up.
Do we even want to count the path from the river up on the bottom rune? Because that is so fucking small. Like that is like wide load not allowed.
Doesn't matter in terms of ward coverage. It's like
small,
if you look at
it's another.
If you look at the ward positionings that the top level teams were using, the ward positionings on the Radiant side are going to have to be completely reworked. Like you're gonna, as a top team, the way that you ward the Radiant side early game is gonna have to change totally. And I have that data.
All right.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Twitch chat was right.
Oh, we were left.
Twitch chat is never wrong.
Good night, guys.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the patch. I'll snip this up a little bit so everyone can follow it somewhere. I don't know.
Pretty much 4 hours on the dot.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get it onto YouTube or something like that. Yeah, how long has TobiWan been streaming? Just click that one there. It's like we pretty much started straight away. Yeah, but thanks so much everyone. Thanks for coming on, boys. Thanks as well to all the other guys who are on. Yeah, and we'll see you next time on the stream.
Bye, everybody.
Hi, goodbye. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching. Alright. Also, guys.